Village, Oklahoma City, your home of the Oklahoma City Thunder, the Sports Animal, a Cumulus station. This hour, sponsored by High Tech Plumbing and Leak Detect. Call 405-340-2000 or visit
I wonder if we could move this over here.
He's known as the ultimate in the sports universe.
I got it. We're good.
The man.
Thanks.
The myth. The ego. It's the Afternoon Sports Beat with Jim Traber on 98.1 FM. WWLS, the Sports Animal.
Good afternoon, everybody, and welcome to the Afternoon Sports Beat on this hot, daggone it, beautiful, be happy Friday. I'm Jim Traber, your host, going to be with you until 6 o'clock talking sports. I'm here today at the Reservoir at the Toyota Music Factory, and the OU fans are out in droves as usual, as we get ready for a huge OU-Texas game, 5-0 versus 5-0. By the way, this place, the Reservoir, is big, big, big time. A modern industrial patio-driven gastro pub. Great beers and spirits, great food, incredible chef-inspired creative American dishes. And you know what? This is a big sponsor here today, Rock and Roll Tequila. Bob Stoops is Rock and Roll Tequila right over there. Sounds like some of you already been hitting some of the tequila. That's okay. Nothing wrong with that. It's just going to be a great day. We're so excited. Now, David Smith and the Big Red Shop is right over there. So if you want any OU stuff, it's over there. All of it. Look at it all. Man, I know you have like 75 shirts. You might want to get number 76. It's probably a little bit different than what you normally wear. Right at 4 o'clock. Right over here at the Westin in the hotel restaurant over there. Big Al Eschbach will be doing his show starting at 4. And then after his show, Super Freak. Oh, no, Super Freak's going to be here for a while. I don't know. It says Super Freak live on the Texas Lottery stage. So they're going to be here. And then they're going over there. Is that what's going on? Wow. What a big day. What a big night. So it's going to be great stuff happening here today. Mr. Matt Ravis, back in studio. How are you, Matt?
I'm great. I'm fired up. How you doing?
I'm good, man. I'm doing okay. I'm okay, except I see some of the stupidest drivers I've ever seen when I come down. Let me ask you something. When you take driver's lessons nowadays, do they tell you to get the heck out of the left-hand lane when you're going 5 miles under the speed limit? Do they tell you to do that, or is it just like nobody cares anymore?
No, I would hope so, since that's like the law now.
I know
they tell them that.
It's unbelievable.
Just like they tell you to like use your blinkers or like following every other law.
Just yardbird after yardbird after yardbird driving down here. It's just amazing. And then you drive by them, and they don't even look like they know where they are. I mean, not only don't think they're in a car or even on a highway, I don't even know if they know they're in the United States. I mean, they don't even know what they're doing. Just driving there, do. Meanwhile, there's people lined up everywhere. Unbelievable. I'm not lying to you. First of all, there was a bad area there for a while. Of course, you have no idea. You start going 5 miles an hour on the highway, and you think, oh, there must be an accident. Nope, nothing. No, nothing at all. Once you get up there, we just keep on driving because some idiot or two decided that they're going to just slow down to a hello, little girl. How are you, sweet thing? You're beautiful. I love that. I love little girls. That's not bad. Don't take that the wrong way. I got lots of little girls in the family. Anyway, Matt, it's just a clueless festival, man. It's unbelievable. I'm telling you right now, at one point I was in the left-hand lane, and we were going 15 miles under the speed limit. 15 miles under the speed limit in the left-hand lane. Just kind of driving along because people wanted to go by this truck that was going 20 miles under the speed limit. Well, you know what? If you're going to pass somebody who's going 20 miles under the speed limit, then pass them at least at the speed limit. What a bunch of idiots, man. I don't know how they survive. I'm serious. I don't know how they survive. Yeah, what were you saying, Matt?
Can I ask you something?
Absolutely.
Has there been one time you drove down to Dallas for OU, Texas, and you were like, there was a bunch of good drivers surrounding me?
No.
Has there been one single time?
No, never. No. You know why? Because every time you get on the highway, there's people that have no idea what they're doing. Right? None. They don't know what they can't figure it out.
You may not want to hear this.
Okay.
The expectations may need to be adjusted. because I think that's what it's going to be.
You think so?
That's what it is, because that's been my experience every time I drove down.
So what I'm hearing from
Every
you,
time.
Matt Ravis, my partner is telling me it's my fault. Is that what you're telling me?
I didn't say it was your fault. It's their fault. I just said you need to manage your own expectations, big boy.
Oh man,
you need to be realistic, because it's not going to be that way. It never has been.
Don't you think that if it's 70 miles an hour, that I can not bad, right? What's wrong with that?
Or at least be passing somebody.
I'm gonna tell you right now.
That's what you should be doing. If you're in the left lane, you should be passing somebody.
That's exactly right.
The left lane is the passing lane.
Yeah.
It's not anything. It's just the passing lane.
Yeah, it was unbelievable. I'm going to tell you right now, if I was a policeman, and I would be a terrible policeman, but if I was a policeman, I could never go through what you have to be a policeman. But if I was a policeman, I would think I would write more tickets for idiots in the left-hand lane than I would for people speeding.
I wonder, is there anybody out there who's gotten a ticket for that? Do you know anybody?
Oh, they do it. My good friend who just retired from the Oklahoma City Police Force.
The one that I know?
Yeah, that's exactly right. The one that you know. He wrote tickets for it.
Okay.
No, he would write tickets. Yeah.
What about cell phones? Does anybody ever get ticketed for that, I wonder?
I don't know. That's a good question. I don't know. I do see a lot of young people with their cell phones, not having any idea what's going on around them. I got to tell you, Matt, I was really excited about the weather. It is hot down here, dude. Hot today.
I don't know if there's a cold front moving through, but we just went down to I think we're at 70 here in OKC.
Yeah, that's
moving your way.
That's exactly what's happening. But that cold front's not going to hit us until overnight.
Gotcha.
And then tomorrow morning, it's going to be chilly at our pregame show. Yeah, going to be a pregame show. By the way, somebody just messaged me and said fly. Saw the what? Just one word, fly.
Jet. Yeah.
But then I got to rent a car and everything. I got to drive from here in the morning at 7 o'clock in the morning. I got to drive Al down there with me because we drive together. Can't have Al drive. Do you ever hear the stories about when he used to bring his vet down here, and and I would drive the vet, and I would have like a panic attack when I would get in the car, and I'd have to get out. Because when you get in there, dude, it is like a coffin in that thing. Right. I mean, it is unbelievable. Right. And everybody knows that listens to my show, I can't get into a, MRI machine or anything. I can't do any of that. So, yeah, I'd get into his vet, and we'd crank the thing up, and I go, hold on a second now, and I'd get out of it. And I had to stand out for a little bit and breathe, and then I have to get back in. And I think horrible. One time it took me 2 different times to get out. Yeah, it was. I can't get in that. It was really bad. But I got to drive. I got to drive down. I love driving. I just want people to get the heck off the highway because they're idiots.
I heard we had the Boz on earlier. He was driving. He lives in Austin, and he was driving north to Dallas, and he was saying the exact same thing.
Oh, I'll bet.
He's like, hold on, let me get away from these idiots in the left-hand lane.
I'll bet, man.
So same thing both ways, just so you know.
It is some cluelessness. There's no doubt about it. So what you're telling me is that whether you're an OU fan or a Texas fan, there's a bunch of them that still drive in the left-hand lane.
That is exactly what I'm telling you.
Gosh. I will tell you, they're doing some really good construction. When you get into Texas, it looks like they're getting ready to make like a lot more lanes and stuff. So that'll be good. Coming into Denton. Because, leaving Denton, going towards Dallas, used to be a fiasco.
Yeah, especially if you're getting there around, rush hour.
Oh, horrible. But they made that a lot better. And now it looks like they're going to make the other area better too. So that's good. I'm happy about that.
Now, do you go to Buc-ee's when you go down there?
No, I mean, I've been to Buc-ee's a couple times. It's just a glad festival is what it is, Just people glad as can be, wanting to put their shirts on and stuff. The Buc-ee's shirt. Now, do you have a Buc-ee's shirt, Matt?
I do somewhere, yeah.
You got a Buc-ee's shirt, Matt?
I don't wear it, but I have one. Absolutely, I do.
That's beautiful.
From the time I went to Buc-ee's.
Now, here's the question: when you go to Buc-ee's, what are you going there for?
I'm getting beaver nuggets, and I'm getting like some barbecue.
Okay, now their barbecue.
Sandwich.
I did have a barbecue sandwich there one time,
good.
and they're making it right in front of you, kind of deal. And it was good. Now,
It's good.
Please tell me if I'm allowed to. What is a Bucky's Nugget? What is that?
A beaver nugget, and you are allowed. It's like, is it a little bit like Cracker Jacks? Somebody out there can tell me, but it's that kind of deal. It's like brown sugar, caramel, corn pop.
Hey, don't mention Cracker Jacks, man. I'm hooked on Cracker Jacks right now.
I know you are.
I have lost my mind. Last night I didn't have any Cracker Jacks, and I started to have a little bit of I was tripping out a little bit. I needed some Cracker Jacks.
I think it's that kind of deal. I think they're similar.
Okay. Beaver Nuggets. That doesn't sound very good.
No, it doesn't sound the most appetizing. You're right. What's a beaver nuggets?
Beaver nugget.
For a snack. Their beef jerky is good too.
Okay. Yeah, I'm not a big beef jerky guy. So I'm wondering, has anybody been drinking the rock and roll tequila yet? Anybody been getting any of that? Anybody? Yeah, okay. Good. People raising their hands in there.
Good for them.
As they're falling over, they fell over as they were putting their hand in the air.
Good for you.
Yeah, Bob Stoops. We got a picture of big Bob Stoops around all over the place over here with his rock and roll tequila. I can't believe he didn't come. That makes me mad. I don't know why Bob Stoops didn't come by here today. I might text him, see if he's going to. He won't be able to come. He won't come over here. Well, anyway, we're going to have a huge time today. We're really excited about it. And, man, are we fired up for this game or what? By the way, Matt Ravis, your boy Baker Mayfield is everywhere. Baker Mayfield, he might be the best quarterback in the entire NFL, according to what I've been watching last couple days.
He's loving life right now. It's going well for him. He's going to resurface now.
Yep. Baker Mayfield. He is just wonderful.
He thought it would be a shootout today.
Is that what he said?
He said, I think it's going to be a shootout. And, I mean, he's not going to pick Texas to win. I don't know why anybody would expect him to.
No, of course not. Of course he's going to pick OU. Hey, I don't have a problem with anybody picking OU. I mean, OU can win this game. We talked about it all week long. I'm just
seeing some quotes from him on with Pat McAfee today.
Oh, our boy Pat McAfee. He looked so stupid today. It was beyond belief with that stupid cowboy hat on and his wife beater. What did he say? Are you playing one or what? Am I hearing something?
No. You're hearing somebody talking in the background there.
Okay, I'm sorry.
Here's a quote for Baker Mayfield.
Okay.
Talking about the crotch grab in Kansas. You mean you can't grab your crotch on the sideline anymore? That was one of those blackout moments. They asked if he regrets it. He said no.
He said no?
He said no regrets.
Of course. Of course Baker Mayfield doesn't have any regrets because he's a punk. That's why. Why would a punk have regrets?
Hey,
very simple.
Let me ask you this. Has he ever talked about anything he's ever regretted? I think he's a no regrets kind of person.
Did they ask him, do they regret running from the police? Or he doesn't regret that either?
No, actually, we might find some apology from him that might say otherwise.
Yeah.
But that might be it.
All right. Very good. People are yelling at me. The big Baker Mayfield fans are yelling at me.
I know you think he's a punk or whatever. He was very nice this morning. I've encouraged people to go listen to that podcast if you haven't heard it.
Well, good.
On our station.
That's right. He was on our station at 8 o'clock this morning with the morning animals. Well, good. I'm glad. He can be really good on the radio and television. He can be good. There's no doubt. He's a good talker. Matter of fact, he may be one of them dudes that may do that after he's done. You know, I can see that. Couldn't you?
Yeah, certainly.
Maybe. You know what? Maybe we'll have him come. What do you think about that?
Oh man.
Huh?
Oh man, that'd be some fire. I would listen. I would tune in.
Wonder what the name of that thing would be. Huh? Baker and the Ultimate? What would that be? We got to come up with a name. Yeah. It'd have to be something ugly. Two men. Not much love. But they're going to talk. Huh?
We'll workshop it a little bit. Maybe people on the text line can let us know. 405-900-9957. What's that show called?
Yeah, that'd be a good show, wouldn't it? That'd be a good show.
I would tune in for sure.
Yeah, that'd be good stuff. Oh, well. Have you thought any more about this game? I got to tell you, I kind of went back and forth a little bit on this game all week long, really. I don't really know what – I think Texas is going to win, but I just can't figure out the spread very much. I think the spread is probably a really good spread, Matt.
I think it's spot on, yeah. No, I think it's right on. I think it's going to be between 3 and 7 points. I think is what it's going to be. It usually is. Yeah, absolutely. I know that last year, obviously. No one will let you forget the 49-0. But
well, I mean, that game. I mean, I I talked to a Texas fan the other day. Even he realized that, that game was ridiculous.
I think it's Texas 34-31, something in that neighborhood.
So did you pick OU in the points?
Yeah, I've got OU in the spread, and I've got Texas winning.
What is the spread right now? Is it still 5?
5.5.
I went back to 5.5. I will tell you this. So here, Kevin Ward up in Tulsa said Bacon Traber. It's a pretty good one. I like that. Pretty good. You got anybody sending any names? Anything good? Anything worth it? I'm sure there's some people ripping me. What?
Traber gets baked.
Traber gets baked. Okay. I will let you all know that I'm going to bet you any amount of money that I probably will not get baked. But that's okay. Yeah. I understand. I understand that he can do no wrong. I understand.
The Punk and Pops?
Pops. Big Daddy. How about Big Daddy, Bacon the Big Daddy. Bacon Big Daddy. That'd be a good name.
The Ultimate Bake Off.
The Ultimate Bake Off. Okay.
It's like the Great British Bake Off or something.
Okay. I like it. I like it a lot. Now, we know Sanders is playing, right? That's that dude.
Sanders,
that dude can play, man. He's a good player. I mean, he is. They say he's got a chance to be a first-round pick.
When you got a guy like that at tight end, it's just a walking mismatch, right?
Yeah, and I've talked about this before, man. As a quarterback, dude, there's nothing better than having a tight end, man. I know that there's teams that don't even have tight ends nowadays, but there's nothing better to have some big dude that can get in the middle of the field, and if you get in some trouble, you can even not lob it up, but you know what I'm saying, get it up there where he's usually bigger than the dudes around him. I mean, that is a valuable piece to have. It really is. So that's going to be interesting. Now, have we heard about Watt? Is Watt going to play? Do we know anything about that?
Yesterday, last I saw, he was a game-time decision. You're talking about the cornerback?
Cornerback?
Yeah. Last I saw, he was a game-time decision.
Okay. I think Dean Blevins said yesterday, I think he's got a pretty good point. We've been talking about, we always talk about OU by watching them every single game, and really, it's almost unfair to talk about a team that you watch every week. I know that sounds a little ridiculous, but what I'm coming to is that we watch them and we see this and we see that, but I don't know if we see the whole picture a lot of times. I'm really interested to see the defensive backs for both teams. I really am. Because I'm telling you, both teams have got wide receivers. And then maybe, I don't know, Baker Mayfield said he thinks it's going to be a shootout. That might be one of the reasons if it does become a shootout. You know, Matt?
Sure.
With the wide receivers against the defensive backs. I don't know. I think the rules are so in the offenses, on the offensive side nowadays that it's kind of hard for the DBs to really make plays,
Yeah, for sure.
So,
hey, I was going to run a scenario by you.
Go right ahead.
We've been talking about in arguing back and forth about running to pass and passing to run and all about that, and people are on different sides. OU is up 3 points. There's 3 or 4 minutes left. I mean, at that point, OU would have to run the ball, right? That would be dicey. What do you think about that scenario?
You try to.
4-minute drill.
They'd have to, yeah. But I think that, I mean, it's just me, and I could be wrong, but in that kind of situation, I think they're going to probably have to run the quarterback some. Probably fake the ball and maybe let him roll and things like that. Maybe give it to a wide receiver, too, outside. Look, what I'm saying is I don't think OU is going to run the ball inside the tackles. I just don't think they can. Maybe they'll prove me wrong. We'll see. As you said all week long, crazy things happen in this game. You never know what you don't think something will happen, and it does. So maybe OU will come out tomorrow and run for 150 or 200 yards. I don't know. I think the only way OU will run the ball tomorrow is if they use imagination and try to get outside some. Now, Texas can run. I mean, I'm not just saying here, pitch it and do that, but the jet sweeps and that kind of stuff, that's the kind of stuff that I think probably will work. I don't see him running inside the tackles, man. I mean, if you can't run inside the tackles against SMU when you're running it all the time, why do we think they're beginning to run it tomorrow?
What are the chances do you think you see Jackson Arnold in there too? I'm talking about not between the tackles.
I would bet that Jackson Arnold's going to have a package in this game. I don't think it'll be a big package, but I think he'll have a package.
We've seen that before. A different coach and all that, but
right. I will say this.
In this game.
When, he has run basically the Belldozer. It's basically the same thing that Blake Bell ran. But he is like 15 times faster and an athlete than Blake Bell is. You see what I'm saying? So when we really end up seeing Jackson Arnold, there's going to be a lot of things that he's going to do. Does that make sense?
Yes.
So we haven't seen hardly anything. We did see him throw a 40-yard perfect dime, right on the money on a pass down the sideline. I mean, just a perfect throw. So, but I don't think you see, I don't know if you see a lot of him. I think you probably see a little of him.
Here and there, yeah.
It's got to be Gabriel's game, man. You got to do it. He's never played in this game. It's going to be his last year, at least for OU. I think we all agree. I think he has a 6th year to play. I don't know what the heck's going to happen if he says what if he says to Brent Venables, I'd like to come back? Can he? I mean, what's that going to be? What are they going to say?
Thanks, but no thanks. Yeah, I don't know. I mean, you'd have to think you'd see the writing on the wall at that point that they're going with Arnold.
Yeah.
Because they have to keep Arnold around. You have to worry about that. So
you got to keep Arnold around.
Yeah, that's a priority number one.
Absolutely, no doubt about it.
When you look through, and a guy named Caden McFarland was tweeting out some of the biggest games Dylan Gabriel's ever played in terms of teams with great records, and there's not a bunch of them.
I know. Yeah, this is the biggest game of his life.
It's really not close either.
No. But you know what? There's a whole bunch of other people that's going to be playing this game. It's their biggest game too. Right? Anderson. I mean, I could go on and on. The dudes that are freshmen, the dudes that barely played. Last year, that game was a joke. So if you're a sophomore, this game's the biggest game you've ever played in too, right? I mean, this game is huge. You don't get 5-0 very often. Well, I mean, it's last time these two teams were 5-0 was 2008. 2011, they were 4-4. I mean, 4-0. So, and then, with game day here and everything, should be impressive. And, of course, game day's gotten a whole bunch better now that Tim McAfee's on there, right?
Yeah, Pat McAfee. Yeah.
Pat McAfee, not Tim. Tim's his brother, Pat McAfee.
They've been getting criticized a lot.
Now, what do you mean? Tell me what are you talking about? What do you mean?
Some guy wrote this article, and I didn't even read it. I just saw the headline, but he was saying that, game day used to be college football's best friend. Now it's a bully. And I guess they were talking about the Washington State stuff.
Okay, now tell me what happened.
Well, I don't even know the full extent of it, but there's been some back and forth with McAfee and in college game day in Washington State. I think it started with Lee Corso, didn't it?
It did.
Where he was saying, he was talking bad about him. He was taking shots for no reason at him.
Right, yeah. Well, it's hard to keep something like that running and be impressive. And then Lee Corso's, he's kind of getting too old to do the whole show. I think they made a major mistake bringing in McAfee, but as you've told me, millions of people like the guy.
No, he's got an audience.
I wonder, Matt, have you looked at all of what their ratings are like this year with him on compared to maybe other years? Do you have any idea?
I haven't seen that before.
I don't know. I don't know any. I don't know the answer to it. Anyway, good stuff. They're up. Cisco says they're up. Wow, that's crazy. I just guess I'm an idiot.
Yeah, I'm not surprised, man. I mean, you look at his YouTube channel and social media and all that. How many followers he has? He's got a massive audience.
Do you see those dudes that sit with him in the show? Who are those dudes?
Yeah, we have it playing in studio quite a bit. I'm guessing those are like his.
There is guys like Dan Patrick had.
Yeah,
right?
His producers and his all those people. Yeah.
Well, they had them all sitting out today like they were. Julie was like, "Who are those guys?" I said, "Well, he's their producer people. I don't know what they're doing sitting out there, but whatever." I know one thing. Give him $10 million a year and get rid of a bunch of really good people. Doesn't seem like real good sense, but whatever. Who am I? I'm not running any companies. Let's take an OG&E break. Go to OGE.com/Storm Prep for all your safety tips. We're at the Reservoir here at Toyota Music Factory. Man, big crowd as usual. Don't forget David Smith and the Big Red Shop is over here. So if you want to get some OU stuff, they've got it. And we want to thank Rock and Roll Tequila. They're right over there. Bob Stoops' brand, Rock and Roll Tequila. They are here all day as well. When we get back, Traber's take and a lot more right here on the Leader in Sports, The Animal.
P42705, 6.99% for 84 months. WAC. Dealer retains all rebates. No payments for 6 months with Dash Financial.
Employee retention credit checks are just now.
What's up?
How long we got?
Hold on.
Your business can get $26,000 per employee kept.
4 minutes.
Oh, that's funny. That is funny. Actually, Al Eschbach and I can't figure out north and south either, because where we come from, we just say left and right. There's no north and south. Back right. Really? Yeah. Oh yeah. Where we come from on the East Coast, nobody goes, hey, listen, go north here and then go west. Nobody says that. They go right, say right and left. Okay. Cisco says we're up on the big board. Oh yes. Look at that. Man. That is a good-looking dude up there. That is really good.
My goodness.
There's Al. Thank you, Al. Appreciate it. Anyway, watching the show on the big screen. Gotta love it. Okay, so it is south. Yeah. I was wondering why anybody would tell me that there's a wreck going north, but
concerned about
south.
The Texas fans.
Goolsby, huh? Goolsby. Okay, that's bad for the OU fans that are just getting out.
Get through Norman, yeah.
Anyway, Matt, you just brought that word crossroads up, and it is a huge year, and unfortunately, it's not looking good for OSU, Matt. I wish I could say something different, but it's not.
It's just, and I know OSU fans feel this way. It's frustrating because what do we spend all summer talking about? This is your time to carry the flag for the Big 12 Conference with OU and Texas leaving, and what do? They sold out the tickets all season long, and get to see this product so far. So
that's a great point.
It's very frustrating.
Yeah, the sellout thing's unbelievable. What'd you say? I'm sorry. Did I miss something? I didn't. I
just said it's very frustrating. Yeah, I'm with you.
Yeah. I don't know what they're going to do. Kansas State's pretty good. Maybe not as good as I thought they were a few weeks ago.
Last week, you see his stat line against UCF?
Yeah. What's his name?
Giddens,
I think.
Like that.
Giddens. Yeah.
He ran for like 204 and had 4 touchdowns.
Yeah. I don't know how OSU is going to stop him. I mean, I just don't have any idea how OSU is going to stop him. It is going to be really, really tough.
By the way, you don't think of them as a high-scoring offense. They're like 12th in the country in points scored at this early point.
And they lost their daggone quarterback. Right?
Right.
I mean, their quarterback was Howard hasn't been playing. Now, I don't know. Have we heard? Do we know if he's playing today?
I think he's playing. Yeah, he's playing.
For sure.
Yeah. I'm not sure if does he carry an injury designation. I mean, he's been talking all week to the media.
Okay, Howard played last week too. Here, Howard last week threw for 255, and then Giddens, like you said, ran for 207 with 4 touchdowns. And by the way, Giddens was the leading receiver. Did you see that? He had 8 catches for 86 yards.
He had like almost 300 total yards in that game. By the way, I think they had a week off too, right? K-State.
That's right. They did have a week off.
I said last week. It's 2 weeks ago.
2 weeks ago. Yeah.
Their last game. Yeah.
Well, this is what it's all about here, man. The pressure, and I'm interested to see what kind of crowd there's going to be tonight. It's hard to figure. I just don't know. I know that the OSU fans are really, really good, but I don't know how fired up they are.
Downtroddenness from the OSU fan base.
Oh yeah,
it's hard to get fired up.
I'm gonna tell you right now. I have talked to some OSU fans in the last couple of weeks that are just, massive OSU fans. Always positive. You know what I'm saying? Always positive.
Right.
And there's no positivity now. There just isn't. So now if they could win this game tonight, maybe it can change. But I don't see it happening. I don't. I'm going back and forth on who I like to cover the spread. Of course, I'm so daggone bad at picking games. Everybody should hope that I pick against your team, because I don't know what's wrong with me. I just stink. Flat out stink. And Matt Ravis, by the way, is a super. Matter of fact, I'm expecting to come in someday and them saying, "Oh yeah, Matt left. He started a tout service."
Big in Vegas. Yeah.
You're going to go going against the Fat Jack.
I have been very lucky to start this year so far.
Well, I'm ready. Why don't you pass some of that luck over to me?
Sure.
I wish I could get a little bit of luck.
Sure.
Because I have been bad and unlucky. All right. We do have the Fat Jack coming up at 3:00. I'm interested to talk to him about this line, the movement of it, and has it been smart money? Has it been not smart money? There's a lot of people that have been talking different ways about it. I know that there's a lot of money on Texas. So there's a lot of money on Texas, and then the OU line went down. But now it went back up again, right? You said it's 5.5 now?
Yeah, 5.5. And as we're talking, I'm looking at this OSU spread that's down to 10.5. 5.5 for OU Texas, and Oklahoma State's a 10.5 point underdog.
Well, I mean, hopefully, I think Jack will be able to tell us what he thinks as far as the smart money is concerned on those two games. Who did you lock this week? Who was your T&W Tire lock of the week?
Your Pittsburgh Steelers.
Oh my
gosh.
The
Ravens.
Oh my gosh. Oh, jeez, they're so bad. So bad.
You know how it goes in the NFL, though. It's these rah-rah spots, and Tomlin is great in these spots, is he not?
You're right. No, you're right. You're right.
Where nobody gives them a chance.
You're right. You know who I really like this weekend? I like the Minnesota Vikings against the Chiefs.
That line shocked me when I heard that.
I know it. That line
3.5?
looks so stupid. Ridiculous. No, it's 3.5.
3.5.
3.5, yeah. That line is so stupid. How hard would it be to walk up to, this is what I always tell you, walk up to the window in Vegas, so your hard-earned money, and go, I'd like 330 to win 300 on the Vikings. Yeah. That would be really hard.
Meanwhile, me, after a couple drinks, going, Chiefs, 3.5 point favorites, put my life savings on it.
That's
baby,
right.
You know? And
it's the same with the Steelers. Who the heck can walk up to a window and put money on the Steelers? Got the worst offense in the entire league.
You know, the Chiefs weren't super inspiring last week, so I kind of understand.
Yeah, I like the Vikings.
I think that's a good pick.
Yeah, we will see. All right, let's take an OG break. Go to oge.com/storm prep for all your safety tips. We're here today at the Reservoir at Toyota Music Factory. Look at Josh. Josh, what's that? Your first meal of the day? People have overactive thyroids somewhere. This man can eat like you've never seen in your life. Very nice, Josh. That looks good. They got good food here. Come on and see us. Thank you to Rock and Roll Tequila. They're here. They just started in Texas the last 6 months or so. If you're from the area and you haven't had any Rock and Roll Tequila, you need to go try that. Of course, Big Red Shop right over there if you want to get your Oklahoma paraphernalia. Paraphernalia is not the right word, is it? Merchandise. Call it perp. It's okay if it's paraphernalia. I know some of you out here think of the bad things when I say paraphernalia. People that are looking at me like that. All right, we'll be back. We'll get a call or text in when we return, and then the Fat Jack at the top of the hour. Stay with us. This is the leader, and I mean huge leader in sports, the Animal. So it'll be really, really nice in the morning. What do you got, man? Give me some good stuff there. What do you got? You got some text, Matt? You got some text, Matt? What do you got? You know, I just think it's really, really funny that everybody thinks Alabama him to beat them tomorrow. I do. I think that line is so stupid because I still think Alabama is absurdly talented. And for that to be one, it just looks dumb. And I'm just going to now on from when I pick games, I'm just going to pick games that look stupid and take the stupid side. But I don't know, man. At Alabama, this game is half and half. I don't know if I can go there. You agree with that, Matt?
No, I don't agree with that.
Okay.
I mean, like, we might look back and say that. That might end up being right, but at this moment, I can't say that.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, maybe Alabama rips off an 8-4.
Right. And maybe that ends up being true, but I don't know if we know enough about them yet. Who is your pick in Steelers-Ravens?
Jeez. I'm going to pick the Ravens. I mean, the Steelers are sick. They're disgusting. But I am holding out hope with Matt Ravis picking him as his T&W Tire Lock of the Week. So, the Steelers.
There are some people picking for an upset.
Yeah.
I don't think the Steelers are going to win this.
You know how these games go in the division, dude. It's usually a field goal. You know, I mean, it's usually, and you're getting 4.5 because the Steelers are so bad. So your pick is a good pick.
And Steelers going into a bye, right? I mean, this is, you need to get this one right. You open up everything at this point.
Yeah. Canada. How about Matt Canada getting upset with CBS?
And then in doing so, basically admitting that his offense stinks.
No, he did, and he didn't want to admit that he admitted it.
Because he said, we're not built to come back from big leads. Which basically said, we're not built to score points.
Yeah, and then he said it was misconstrued. How was it misconstrued? I mean,
I don't think we misunderstood.
No, nobody did, especially CBS. They did what they should do. They said the right things, and he's just mad because he stinks. And then, I don't know, man. I'm really worried about Pickett, dude. I'm just worried about the guy. I hope that he comes out and plays well Sunday, but I'm just worried about him. I hate to say it. I've said it before, but it seems to me like he's kind of sissified, man. I don't like saying that. You know, I remember everybody's worried about his little hands. It ain't got nothing to do with his little hands, dude. Might be has to do with his little brain. So
he's got no confidence right now.
You're right. Houston just kicking him. Never thought I'd say those words. Houston Texans beating up on him. Got one more? What do you got?
Thoughts on the NFL game last night? Bears Commanders.
I'm telling you, you and I know you're on my side on this one. If somebody can figure out the right offense to write for Justin Fields, he's going to be good. I just don't know if someone will. And I almost guarantee, I guess the Bears have done a little better. The Commanders, do you see Magic Johnson? Magic Johnson, you know, he's a part owner of the Commanders in this new group. You see what he said?
What's that?
He just said that they came out and they weren't ready to play, and it was ridiculous. He ripped right into them. And then they asked the players afterwards what they thought about it, and every one of them didn't want to say one word about Magic Johnson. They were like, well, yeah, he's right. He's right.
Yeah.
If that would have been you or me saying that, they would have ripped him. But when Magic Johnson, they decided, no, we're not going to rip Magic.
I have two Bears stats for you real quick. I don't know if you heard these earlier. They haven't since 1970 had a quarterback throw back-to-back 3 touchdown games.
Okay. 1970?
1970.
Wow.
Over 50 years. After 5 games in Chicago, DJ Moore is already 10.5% of the way to the all-time receiving yards record for the Bears.
Are you serious?
He's already 10% there. Yeah. Oh, yeah.
What a joke that organization is.
Their leading receiver has 5,059 yards for his career. He played in 1958.
What was his name?
Johnny Morris.
I don't even remember him. Don't even remember the name.
It says his position is FL. What is that?
Flanker.
Okay.
Yeah. That's what they used to call. They used to call the wide receiver that was off the ball was the flanker.
Okay, yeah.
You know, like the guy who plays the slot now, he was a flanker.
Right.
Yeah, that's crazy. I haven't heard the word flanker in a long, long time. All right, great. Great first hour down here at the Reservoir, Toyota Music Factory. Great fans down here, fired up. We are going to be here till 6. Al Eschbach's going to be over at the hotel at 4 o'clock in the hotel. And then, after my show, Super Freak's going to play live right here on the Texas Lottery stage. And then I think later tonight they're playing over at the hotel in the they're not. They're just here. Okay, thank you. Super Freak only going to be playing out here this year. So good. They're good. And thank you so much to David Smith and Big Red Shop over here if you want to get your stuff, any attire, OU stuff. And then also a new sponsor that we're really excited about, Rock and Roll Tequila, is here. Love it. Bob Stoops is tequila. And we hope that we'll do a lot more with them. Really excited about them being a part of the sports animal. Why wouldn't you want to be a part of the sports animal? I mean, you could be with some of these other stations where they got 13 people listening, or you could be here where everyone listens. Pretty simple. Time for an OG&E break. Go to OGE.com/Storm Prep for all your safety tips. We'll be back. The Fact Jack coming up next on the end.
The Village, Oklahoma City, your home of the Oklahoma City Thunder, the Sports Animal, a Cumulus station.
This segment of the afternoon sports beat with Jim Traber is brought to you by the Fat Jack Sports Service on WWLS, the Sports Animal.
This hour sponsored by Bob Moore Kia. More choices, more value, more for your trade. It's hour number 2 with Jim Traber on 98.1 FM, WWLS, the Sports Animal.
It is hour number 2. Welcome back. I'm Jim Traber on this Be Happy Friday. We are here today at the Reservoir at the Toyota Music Factory. Come on down if you're in the area. We'd love to see you. Great food, great drinks, big red shop over here. Love it. Mr. Matt Ravis, would it be possible if I could hear some of my favorite music in the whole wide world? Would it be possible if I could hear a little Be Happy Friday music, please? That is beautiful. And let's bring in Mr. Fat Jack. What's up, Jackie boy?
Oh, Jim, how are you? I'm in London eating fish and chips and Asian food a lot, and wishing I was having a corn dog down there in Dallas. I'm telling you, I rarely have FOMO, but having been a child of Oklahoma, growing up in Norman and spending most of my youth, I mean, when I could not travel, could not go anywhere because my mom and I had no money, she figured out a way one time a year to take me. We stayed at the Hilton on Commerce Street. We ate at El Phoenix every time and rarely went to the game because tickets were way too expensive. But it is literally a part of my life that goes back to when I was 6, 7, 8 years old. And the one weekend a year that I really, really miss being there, miss being around you. So excited that Dallas is going well. How are things so far? Did you make it down there all right?
Everything's good except for the Yardbirds driving in the left-hand lane. But other than that, we were good. We made it. Everything's
Jim,
good.
People are the worst drivers in the world in Oklahoma. I hate to say it because I love Oklahoma. Kings, Queens, get over. Get to the right. All right, you're not supposed to be in the left. And by the way, I'm in London where it's opposite. So I spend a lot of time, I'm driving on the wrong side of the road, on the wrong side of the car in a stick shift. And they want me in the far left-hand lane, not the far right-hand lane, which is the opposite of what I do. So these guys come up, they're honking and stuff. And I am literally an Oklahoma Yardbird driver over here in London.
Well, you know, I've told this story before, but when I was playing baseball in Japan, I made the All-Star team, and there were 2 other players from our team that made the All-Star team. So we drove instead of taking the train to Yokohama, and no, actually it wasn't Yokohama; it was Hiroshima. You know, and so
yeah, we
play the game, and after the game, the dude's car was a Mercedes. He gets drunk after the game, and so he goes, "You drive home." He goes, "You drive home." So listen to this. So I'm driving on the left side of the road. I had a couple beers in me, but not a lot. I'm driving on the left-hand side of the road with a left-hand car because it's a Mercedes. They don't put it on the right, it's a left-hand. And I have no idea what I'm doing in the dark. It was psychotic. I mean, I can't believe we made it home.
First of all, not advocating driving on 2 beers. You were in your 20s. You had a mohawk and acted like a complete lunatic.
I was a stud. I could do anything.
You were something. I'm sure when you looked in the mirror, you told yourself that. But you had the flowing locks. I know that. I've seen the pictures.
I look good. Good.
You were the right side of the car, but the wrong side of the road. It's almost like if you got to commit to being backwards if you're going to do that. But you're right. If you're driving down there right now, my son's heading that way with a couple of his idiot friends and their girlfriends. Just get over. You want to drive slow, it's fine. Just get over to the right. So if you want to win this weekend, go to FatJackSports.com. Jim, I won again last week, and last week was one of those that was really close to being great, but it still was really good. We 4-1 on Sunday. We won Thursday. Small winning week on Saturday, but there was a lesson there. So if you waited until Saturday morning to sign up, you got the worst of a couple of lines and didn't win Saturday. Whose fault is that? Sign up early. Get all the plays. You sign up early in the week, you got the better of the lines. And by the way, there's 2 or 3 of those games this week. The lines have violently moved. But yeah, one Sunday, 4-1. We won last night. If you had Kansas City, this is my PSA announcement other than no drinking and driving and stay right. If you had Kansas City and you were one of those complainers on Twitter because the dude is sliding between the 1.5-yard line and the goal line, you need to just tell yourself, even if he gets in the end zone, I'm getting ready to turn around and give my money away next week. I'm never going to win betting on sports. 94% of the money lined up on Kansas City in that spot. If you're following that money, you are a losing gambler. Don't bet it. I'm not telling you the other side was the right side. I'm telling you that if your instincts take you to Kansas City, if your instincts have taken you to Colorado on a weekly basis, if they take you to Kansas City basically ever, or top 5 teams, you're not factoring the line. If you win one week, you're going to give it away the next. Go to FatJackSports.com and get signed up. We won. By the way, last night you had Washington. You're a losing gambler. Don't do that. Chicago, easy winner. They won straight up. There's so much parity in the league, Jim. People cannot get over the fact that a team that has looked like a dumpster fire for the first month of the season could any possible way beat up a team with no offense in Washington. So if you're one of those guys that can't see through that, it's absolutely important you go get signed up, especially as we head into a typically really, really profitable weekend of the year.
Man, I'm watching these dudes play cornhole over here, and they are knocking it out. Okay, anyway. Okay.
Yeah, that's a skill. I'm telling you. Are you any good at cornhole? Because I'm not. I need something a little more firm.
Someday you're going to realize, Matt, I'm good at everything I do. But let's move on, okay? Jack.
This is not Matt. This is Jack, and you may want to challenge.
I was telling both you guys.
Competition now, and I'm going to go get ready.
Go ahead. Go get ready. I don't. You think? Listen, there's no fence built around me. Go ahead. Come on. I'm not afraid. Hey,
there's no fence built around me. We have no.
I will tell you this though. I can't pick a game to save my life, so I know that. I just stink. I'm horrible. Gosh, I'm bad.
Van who's fencing doesn't have enough fencing to put fences around you and I both. So yeah, I mean, you got me getting ready to get in pregame mode. And by Thanksgiving weekend, we're going to have a cornhole showdown.
I know I haven't seen you in like months, but I'm svelte, dude. Svelte. Okay?
I'm svelte.
Yeah, no. I have passed you up, dude. I am much more svelte than you are right now.
Oh, my gosh. You know what? I'm coming in this next weekend. You and I are going to have a tail of the tape. I'm going to show up first part of the week at one of your remotes, and we're going to figure out who's the sveltest.
That's fair.
Because
I like that.
230 now.
Oh,
and
geez.
I've got legs.
And you know what? And I weigh 230, and I am taller than you and have a better body than you, so it's ugly. It's going to be a mismatch.
You are not taller than me. I'm 100% taller than you.
Oh, my gosh. What are you talking about? Dude, you've been traveling all over the world. You got no idea. You can't even figure out what's going on anymore.
No, I'm 100%. We're going to measure each other, and we're going to do a showdown the minute I get back.
I'm in.
What was the record last week?
You went 3-2, and I went 1-4. But I won my T&W Tire Lock of the Week with the Buffalo Bills. Thank you very much.
Nobody loves T&W Tire Locks of the Week more than I do, but I do think it's fun how now we've decided that carries as much weight as the overall pick 5. Did I win my lock or no? I missed my lock.
Yeah, you're 3. You are 3-2, I believe, in your lock. Let me check for sure. Yeah, you're 15-10, and I'm in 10, and I'm 10-15. You're throwing me around like a redheaded stepchild right now.
Ooh, gosh, it has gotten ugly going into October. So yeah, listen, we're going to keep it going. and you're going to get back to 500. So this is an important segment to listen to if you're going to be betting the games. If you didn't go to Texas, you're going to go to Kansas. Take my picks with you because we're going to
I gotta ask you a question. What in the world is going on with this line with OU and Texas? I mean, please tell me. First, it goes way up early on Texas. Then it goes back down on OU. Now it's going back up again. I mean, where's the smart money on this game?
Yeah, sharp money was on OU early. Then they were off of it. And Texas is the second. It's the most bet team right now at about 3 of the books and second in money. So tickets they have the most or second most with Alabama also. And it's not every book, but 3 of them, 3 of the major ones, MGM, FanDuel, one other. Texas is one of the most bet teams. So everybody that has a casual interest is absolutely on Texas. The sharp money came in early on Oklahoma. That drove the line back down. The reality is that there was value based on the opening line, because I think that the sharps all thought that the squares would all jump on Texas no matter what because of their win with Alabama. They have a stronger schedule, all those type of things where if you're not factoring in anything else, you're going to look Texas first. But once the numbers come back down, the sharps are off of it, and it's kind of bounced around. But you've got the general public absolutely on Texas in this spot.
It's a weird line. And then the Kansas State game with OSU tonight, same thing. This line's shooting down for OSU.
Yeah, that's some sharper money. You've got a couple of guys that typically do okay, but have a big following. I mean, they're not doing great this year, but one of them in particular, he's done okay over the last 15 years or so. That he's a handicapper, and he has a bunch of people, and he bets a lot, similar to me. But he loves OSU tonight. So it went up, and now it's working back down because he feels like, and we'll break it down. But basically, Kansas State has no road tests at all other than Missouri, and they lost there. Oklahoma State does really well off a bye and really well off a loss. So there's a few different historical trends of Mike Gundy, and the sharp players put a lot of emphasis in they like Mike Gundy. They like him to outperform the market.
Can I say something real quick? Let me just say one thing, okay? And you guys are smarter than I am. I look at my betting. I can't bet anything. When you and I when we made the bet on our picks on the OSU Iowa State game, you said, Jim, I don't know about OSU. You're selling them short. Remember, you were like, you liked OSU in that game. Let me explain something about Mike Gundy. This is not the Mike Gundy of 4, 5, 7, 8 years ago. Okay, I have tremendous sources in Stillwater. He has become so lazy in doing his job, Jack. He's not the same guy. He's the best coach in the history of the school, and they can all be in love with him. But this is not the guy that they were in love with. I'm just letting you know. I'm just telling you, Jack, it isn't. This team stinks, and their coaching staff is not very good right now. Go ahead.
Yeah, fortunately for me, there's not a union in my world of even sharp players, and I would not bet my money on OSU or against OSU. There's not an amount. I don't know what we're getting out of them. I'm just giving you the perception of some sharp guys that typically know what they're doing. Not always right, but there are more times than not they're going to be right. But I'm with you, Jim. I think that there's got to be division in the locker room. There's no way around that.
No doubt.
Even if he was dialed in, if he was dialed in as a coach up there, they're still going to have division. That you cannot forget the fact that his son is one of the components here. They've lost the teams they're not supposed to. Everybody on that team could have played for South Alabama. I mean, this is a program that all of these kids are going with NIL and with the transfer portal, Jim. Kids are so much more critical of what happens on a week-to-week basis. And I know this because I've had a son go through. I know kids that age. And it's not like before where if you went to University of Nebraska or you went to University of Oklahoma, it didn't matter. You could lose. You are a Cornhusker. You never hear that saying anymore. I went for the program. I went for the school. That was all back in the 70s, 80s, 90s. Now you don't hear that. Guys go. If it's not going well, they leave. And there's more critical thinking on a weekly basis going on. So there has to be some of that up there with the quarterback situation. Yep. And they're not scoring for the most part against anybody, although I do think there's going to be more points tonight with this team. The bye week will help. They'll put in trick plays. Not everything's going to work, but expect a more imaginative out of both of these teams, imaginative offenses. I actually like to totally go over but as far as the side goes, I can't see.
Okay, well, we need to pick the game. I'm actually taking OSU plus the points. It makes me so mad that it keeps going down. I don't think they're going to win. But I do think that they might be able to cover that spread, but I got no idea. So I'll take OSU plus what is it now? 10.5, did you say, Matt?
10.5.
Jeez, that's unbelievable. I'll take 10.5.
That's not the biggest bait and switch ever. Worst, coaches lost his mind, lost the locker room, lost everything. They don't know what's going on up there. I got inside sources. Give me Oklahoma State. Is that what just happened?
Well, they're going to lose. I got them losing. I don't think they're going to win the game.
Are they going to cover? Because that's all I care about.
I just said no. I'm taking Oklahoma State plus 10.5. Which side are you on, big boy? And I mean bigger than me, boy.
We're going to figure it out. I'm taller than you if you're talking tall.
Definitely not taller.
And 14 against Gundy's 24 and 14 against the spread off a road loss. Typically does well there. Does well also off of a bye. I liked it so much more at 12, but as long as it stays above 10.5, I will lean just the slightest of leans of my Spelt 230 toward Oklahoma State plus the points.
Okay. I should switch right now, but I won't. Oklahoma and Texas. What a crazy game. Up and down and up and down. This game is a 5.5. I think it's going to be a field goal game. I think it's going to be a great game. I'm taking Texas to win. So I guess that means I'm taking OU plus the points.
Yeah, I have a play on the total in this one also. I've been really good playing Oklahoma totals this year. I think I'm undefeated on totals with them, actually. Here's the interesting thing about this game. We talk about throwing out the record book. Of course, everyone in the country wants to talk about this. You can throw out the record book when one of these teams has no expectations or very low expectations, but when they both come in with high expectations, meaning ranked, if they're both ranked, Oklahoma has consistently gotten the best of the Longhorns. Now, I absolutely believe we know more about Texas than we do Oklahoma right now. Alabama, huge win. Wyoming, not as bad a game as people would think. They rolled it up on Kansas, which is dangerous. So this is a good Longhorn team. But when they both show up ranked, Jim, Oklahoma 12-4 straight up. That's not against the spread. 12-4 straight up. Bob Stoops, Venables, these coaches have figured out a way, not Venables yet, but these coaches have figured out a way to get the best of Texas and put the pressure squarely on them when the expectations were super high. It's a little interesting dynamic here because you do have the Big 12 championship game. Both these teams are what they hope they are. They can absolutely be meeting again here in December. With all that being said, I'm not going to try to fade that. Oklahoma's covered 5 in a row. They're playing much better defense, only giving up 10 points a game. Texas only giving up about 12.5 points a game. Give me Oklahoma plus the points as well. Wouldn't surprise me if they win straight up either.
Okay, let's go with our T&W Tire Lock of the Week. I think this is one of the stupidest lines I've ever seen. I'm taking Texas A&M against Alabama. I think Alabama should be favored by 6 points. Now, maybe I'm stupid, and I know there's so many people now. Alabama's not good. They're not any good. Trust me, they're still pretty daggone good. They just have a quarterback that stinks. So I'll take, but I'm going to take A&M plus the 1 point.
2.5.
Actually, what, 2.5 now?
That's
okay,
right.
2.5. I'll take A&M.
Yeah, that's the right side, Jim. Yeah, that's the right side. Here's the thing. Alabama, you always get general public money. There's not enough flipping over saying, give me A&M. And we've seen Vegas on these type of lines do really well. We saw Kentucky, a non-ranked team, favored over Florida last week. They rolled them up. Vegas, they're not always right, but they absolutely believe A&M is the right side of that game. So you're off to a good start. I'm going to take the over in the Philadelphia-Los Angeles Rams game. 5 of the last 6 Rams games have gone over the total. I went 4-1 last Sunday, and over in their game last week was one of my wins. They're also 4-1 against the spread their last 5 at home. Philly is on a little bit of upset alert here, but I don't love that because the Rams' offensive line is banged up, not playing that well. But that will create short fields both ways. So look for the Rams-Philly game. That is my T&W Tire Lock of the Week. Rams-Philly over the total.
What is that number, by the way? Maddie, do you know what that number is?
50, but
yeah, 50 and a half, actually.
50 and a half. Okay. All right, my next pick, LSU gave up 700-something yards to Mississippi. I think LSU, I don't know how, but it's like they can't play defense, which is shocking to me. And, nobody likes Missouri, but they're 5-0. So I'll take Missouri plus the 5.5 against LSU at home. It's at Missouri. I think Missouri can win this game straight up. Not that I think they're great. I just think LSU's not any good. So I'll take Missouri plus 5.5.
A lot of sharps on Missouri in that one also. So those guys, that thing has gone back to 6 with some some public money coming in, but it was bet down by sharp players. So you're on the right side there, I think, too. Give me, you know what? I'm going to stay, I'm released now. Okay. Third most bet team this week is Kentucky, plus the 14. People saw what happened last week. That recency bias jumps out and gets in people's brains, and they're like, well, they played Florida close. Why can't they play Georgia close? Kentucky's one of those teams, along with Kansas. There's about four of them. Kansas is one. Texas is one. That Vegas, their power ranking, they are dialed in on how good they are against certain opponents. There's a reason why this is double digits, why 14 points or more. Georgia is going to blow out Kentucky on Saturday. So I will take Georgia minus the points in this Kentucky team that looked really good last week against a Florida team that can't score. Georgia also 0-5 against the spread. Teams don't go 0-10, 0-11 against the spread. And you have about 92% of the money all bet on Kentucky plus the points. Give me Georgia minus the points over Kentucky.
I love that pick. I almost picked it. I totally agree with you. They're falling in love with Kentucky. All right. I'm picking one of those stupid-looking lines in the NFL. I'm going to take the Vikings plus 3.5 against the Chiefs. I know the Chiefs haven't looked as good as people think, but the Vikings are a dumpster fire. And for them to be getting 3.5 only on their home field, I'm taking them. I'll take my chances that this game's going to be close. So I'll take the Vikings plus 3.5.
Yeah, the Vikings can score. It's just, can they stop anybody? What's also interesting, Jim, is when the Vikings are a 4-point or more underdog, they've gone over the total 6 straight times. So they typically score. They're either coming from behind and Kirk Cousins does what everybody expects him to do, which is score a lot of points when it doesn't matter, or they figure out a way to outperform the market and they get it over also. So look for the total. Matter of fact, that'll be my 5th pick. I haven't released that or anything. So I will go over the total, over the 52.5 in the Kansas City-Minnesota game. 12 of the last 16 Minnesota games have gone over the total at home, period. And then, as I said, when Minnesota is around a 4-point dog, they either score playing catch-up to get the total over, or they outperform the market 6 straight times by an average of 15 points since 2020. So they're flying over the total in this exact spot. But, guys, you want to make money, go to fatjacksports.com. Everything's text or emailed to you. You can go to the personal portal on the website. Again, there's no callbacks, no upselling, nothing, no salesman of any kind, just solid, consistent winning selections that are then posted and documented under the results tab. You'll see we had Chicago last night when nobody else had Chicago. We had Chicago plus the points, easy winning. Winner 12 different games have already gone out for the weekend, and more are coming. Go to fatjacksports.com. $149 everything through Monday, $3.99 through Halloween, or $15.99 through the Super Bowl. That's less than $70 a week to win going through the Super Bowl at fatjacksports.com.
Now let me ask you a question. Did you watch the movie Braveheart?
Back when I was long time ago.
Do you remember at the end? Do you remember at the end when they're punishing, when they're torturing him at the end, and they say, "Stretch him. You better find a stretcher, because if you think you're taller than me, dude, you better stretch out a little bit."
Dude, the difference is I have no days off. I've bent over and touched my toes about 6 times since we've been on this call.
Well, I can't.
I'm about a half-inch taller than I was.
I can't bend over. I can't bend over because I got a daggone brace on my back.
That's what she said. All right, I bend over. Everything's fair in love and war. I'm going to bend over. I'm going to get taller, and I'm going to come beat you in the height off and the weight loss. So it's going to be a big week when I get back.
All right, see you, man. Enjoy yourself over there in England.
All right, brother. Have a good week.
All right, Fat Jack. That's a Fat Jack. All right, the rest of the show is dedicated to your phone calls and text messages. I'm still waiting on OSU fan to tell me how they're going to win the game tonight. That'd be interesting if you're driving up there. By the way, at 4:30 will be our countdown to kickoff from Stillwater. Gideon Hamilton's going to be with us at 4:30. So we will get into that, and we'll continue to talk about this big game down here. Time now for an OG&E break. Go to OGE.com/storm prep for all your safety tips. We're at the Reservoir at Toyota Music Factory. Stay with us. This is the home of the Oklahoma City Thunder, the sports animal.
You.
Today at the Reservoir, Toyota Music Factory. I'll be here till 6 o'clock. Al Eschbach comes on at 4, but Al will be over at the hotel at the great restaurant right over here at the Westin. Want to thank Rock and Roll Tequila for being here. Appreciate them being a part of it. Super Freak going to be live on the Texas Lottery stage this evening. Good stuff. Very, very good stuff. Okay, the rest of the hour dedicated to your calls and text messages. Let's get to the phones. You're on the Sports Animal. Go ahead, please.
Hey, Jim, how's it going?
Good. What's up?
Not much. Well, hey, I wanted to bring up something concerning the game tomorrow, see if you've heard about it, and you're probably going to laugh at me when I first say this, but have you heard anything lately concerning a possible cricket infestation at the Cotton Bowl?
I saw a story on TV a couple of weeks ago about crickets that are attacking places, and one of the places that I heard it was down here in Dallas, but I did not hear about the crickets at the Cotton Bowl.
So, and I don't know, I'm just getting this. I was watching the Pat McAfee show this morning, and, you know, they're down there doing their show right outside the stadium.
Right.
And at first I thought he was just messing around, but he actually brought it up multiple times, saying that apparently the Cotton Bowl is infested with crickets. And he was even saying that, I mean, it's to the point, I don't know if he was saying that they're on the field or in the stands or what it is, but he was legitimately saying that there was going to have to be something that had to be done before the game and before people start showing up tomorrow. So I don't know.
Well,
I don't know what's going
well,
on.
I'll tell you what.
But,
make sure you tune in tomorrow morning at 8:00 because Al and I will be parking and we'll walk over. And if we see a bunch of crickets, we'll let you know. I promise.
Yeah, well, you know, I was talking to someone earlier, and you know, we love, me and my family. We've been going to that game there at the Cotton Bowl for years, and we love it there. We love the fair, everything about it. But you know, the last several years, there's been so many issues with that stadium, with things that have just seemed like no one's taking care of it at all. And I don't think anyone wants that game to be moved. I hope they keep there more than anything, but they've got to at least take care of the stadium. If they let it turn into just a total dump, they're going to risk losing.
No, and it's up. And I appreciate your call. It's up in 2025. Did you know that, Matt Ravis? It's the lease is up for this game. For this game, 2025. It's up. But I got to tell you, Matt, I've said this for ever since I've been coming down here. I don't think there's any way that they'll ever move this game. I just can't see it, man.
Dallas wants it to be there. They pay OU in Texas to play it in that stadium.
And it's just it's the most unbelievable atmosphere ever, you know? And look, Jerry's World is an amazing place, but it's just, it's just so big, and I don't know, man.
The only crickets I want to hear is from those Shorthorn fans. Am I right?
That's right. That's exactly right. Hey.
Thanks for laughing at that.
There it is, the crickets. I like that. I don't know. I mean, look, I've been hearing about cricket infestations. I have. And I heard that there's some down here in the Dallas area. You know anything about this?
I think this happens at the end of every summer, doesn't it? And sometimes it's worse.
And there's certain years that are worse. Yeah.
Yeah.
It's like the cicadas those cicada deals that took over us this year.
Yeah. It's every year. There's some years where it's worse for whatever reason.
I know. I will tell you this. They're terrible. There were terrible crickets up in Stillwater at the football stadium. Terrible. A bunch of them. So, very nice. This guy's got a shirt on, Roy effin' Kent. You know what that's from, right, Matt? Roy Kent, my man. I like the shirt. Like it.
Roy Kent.
Roy Kent. You know what that's from?
From Ted Lasso.
That's from Ted Lasso, man. Yeah.
From Ted Lasso.
I love Roy Kent. I love him. I wish he didn't cuss as much, but that's life, you know? It's just the way it is.
That's just being a guy from
that's being him. Yeah. That's
London.
Being him.
Yeah.
I love that dude, man. I hope that when Lasso's totally over, that he does something else. See, if I'm somebody, I'm making him into I'm making a show around him. Because he is awesome. Absolutely awesome. Let's get another call in. You're on the Sports Animal. Go ahead, please.
Hey, Jim.
What's up?
Hey, let's go back to your high school days and your recruiting.
Okay.
Did you ever consider going to Pitt?
Oh, absolutely. My father went to Pitt. My whole family was from Pittsburgh. But here was the problem. There were two problems. The first one was the same year that I was recruited, there was a guy named Dan Marino that was being recruited. And I sure as heck wasn't going to go there with Dan Marino. The second thing was their baseball stunk. Because you remember, I never thought I could play NFL football, but I thought I had a chance possibly to play Major League Baseball. So baseball was more important to me, but obviously I love playing football too.
I was wondering if you thought that baseball was a lot worse there, and maybe you had exceeded, like, you major league. You went to OSU, and but the coaches there probably got you to the major leagues, right?
Well, yeah, it was a big part of it. Yeah, Gary Ward and Tom Holliday. Here, real quick, I'll tell you a story. So I only had one visit left, and I was going to go to Boston College, and Dave Wanstead, who was recruiting me, called me up. He was recruiting me from Pitt. He was at Pitt, and he called me up and said, hey, I'm down at Oklahoma State. I'm wondering what's going on with your recruiting. And I said, well, I think I'm going to go to Clemson. And he said, you want to make a trip down here? And I said, I got one left. I'm going to Boston College. He said, do you think you'll go to Boston College? I said, no, I just want to go see the city. And he said, well, come on down to Oklahoma State. So what they did with the East Coast guys was they would fly us to Kansas City, and then they would fly us in a private jet from Kansas City to Stillwater, so we didn't know that Stillwater was in the middle of nowhere, okay? And so we'd get out, and they'd take us. So anyway, during my weekend, Houston Nutt was my host, and so we went to a basketball game, and Gary Ward and Tom Holliday walked up to me and said, hey, come on up to our offices. So I went up to the offices, and they had this rendition of Allie P. Reynolds Stadium. That's to show you how old I am, because it's not even a daggone stadium anymore. But it was brand new. They were building it, and they just talked to me because they had talked to some pro scouts back in the Baltimore area who knew me, and that's what Tom Holliday was unbelievable at. He was so good at that stuff. So they sat me down, and they talked to me for about an hour. And I flew home, and I told my mom and dad, I said, Mom, Dad, I want to go to Oklahoma State. And they were like, why? Because, my mama, she started crying. She didn't want me to go that far away from home. And I said, Mom, there's no Dan Marino, and they got big-time baseball. And my dad was like, okay, you should go there. And my mom was still really sad, but she understood. So, yeah, I love Pitt, always loved Pitt. But it just wasn't right for me. It just wasn't. And Oklahoma State, I say it to this day, I wouldn't change it for the world. I wouldn't change it. I had an unbelievable time there. It helped me immensely in baseball. The football was a little bit weird at times, but the baseball was wonderful, and it did definitely help me get to the big leagues. No doubt about it. So that's why I ended up going to Oklahoma State.
Story.
Okay?
Great story.
Thanks, man. Appreciate it. My recruiting was weird because of the baseball, Matt Ravis. It was different.
Yeah, the multi-sport.
And I didn't want. I wanted to play both, but you couldn't play football on a baseball scholarship, but you could play baseball on a football scholarship. And so I had to go on a football scholarship so that I could play both. So my 6 visits were Pitt, Notre Dame, Purdue, Clemson, Penn State, and Oklahoma State. Those were my 6 visits. And Oklahoma State, Clemson had a really good baseball program. The other ones weren't so good. And then, of course, Oklahoma State was building something special. And, geez, I got to go play in the College World Series 2 years in a row. How could you beat that? Man, how could you beat that? It's
right.
Beautiful.
Absolutely.
So good stuff. All right, let's take an OG&E break. Go to OGE.com/storm prep for all your safety tips. We're at the Reservoir, Toyota Music Factory. Come on down here if you're nearby. Great food. If you want to watch the game, you don't have a place to watch it, this is a great place to watch it. Al and I actually watched the game here during COVID, right? This is where we did it. We did our shows, and then we watched the game here. So pretty good stuff. Come on out. And we want to thank Big Red Shop over there. You want to go get some great OU stuff, they've got it. And Rock and Roll Tequila over here. They're a part of it. We love that. Of course, Bob Stoops, he's got his pictures all. I got to tell Bob next time I see him, I'm sick of looking at your pictures. But everybody knows I love Bob. He's a great dude. But Rock and Roll Tequila, we're so happy that they're a part of this with us as well. Super Freak on the Texas Lottery stage after the game. We'll take one more segment of calls and text messages, and then we'll bring in the legend, Mr. Al Eschbach, right here on the home of the Thunder, the Animal. Come on out. If you've never been here, great place. Great place to watch the game, too, if you don't have anywhere to go, if you don't have tickets. By the way, if you want some more OU apparel, it's right over there. We got it. Big Red Shop is here. Al Eschbach going to be right across the way at the Westin. So we're going to talk to him just here in a couple of minutes. Let's get to the phones. You're on the Sports Animal. Go ahead, please.
Hey, Jim, quick, two things real quick. First, fun fact, I don't know if you knew this, but when he coached game day in Dallas, he was actually 4-0 against Texas in Dallas. Game day there.
Say that one more time now. I didn't understand what you said.
I said, fun fact, when game day is in Dallas, OU is actually 4-0 against Texas.
Well, then Texas shouldn't even show up tomorrow. Then Texas shouldn't even come.
Well, okay. Well, here, and the second thing is I keep hearing how Oklahoma really hasn't faced anybody. Well, here's the thing with that is Texas really hasn't either.
No. Wait a minute, dude. Please don't call me and say that Texas hasn't faced anybody, okay? That's just dumb. It's dumb. Don't do it. Don't do it. I can't talk to you if you're going to say that.
No. I'm just trying to say a fact. Okay, so hear me out real quick, Joe. Hear me out before you say anything negative, okay? So if you talk offensively, defensively, naturally, Alabama offense is ranked 88 nationally, and their defense is ranked 56.
Dude, listen. I don't care about rankings. I don't care. Rankings do nothing for me. Let me explain something to you. Alabama, if they has played OU schedule, they'd be 5-0, and they would have dominated teams just like OU has. Stop it. You people that want to rip on Alabama, you're losing your mind. You know what? They have no quarterback. They got big problems at quarterback.
No, people use that argument all the time.
I don't. I don't do that. I'll tell you what. I appreciate your call. Get a couple of beers, sit down with your buddies that are OU fans, and talk about how bad Alabama is and how Texas hasn't played anybody, and enjoy yourselves. But I'm not going to be a part of it. I'm not. Alabama is by far the best football program over the last 10 years. It's not even close. Are they down right now a little bit? It looks that way. I actually picked A&M to beat them. So it's not like I think Alabama's tremendous. But Alabama is so much better than anybody OU's played. It's not even close. Stop. Doesn't mean OU can't win the game. I'm not saying that. See, the thing that you're not going to get away with on my show is to beat people down to make something of your team look good. I'm just not going to do it. If you want to say, I think OU's really good this year, and I think that Gabriel is playing great football, and their defense is a lot better, and I think they can beat Texas, great. Let's talk about that. But don't say, well, Alabama's number 56 and OU's number. I don't care. I don't care who's what. We're going to find out tomorrow. If you're an OU fan and you think that Texas hasn't played anybody, you need to get that out of your head, okay? This is going to be a big-time football game, and like it or not, remember, I've never said the words Texas is back. Not one time. Never. Never. But I'm telling y'all, they're really good this year. If OU goes into this Cotton Bowl tomorrow and wins by 10 or 14 points, it is not that Texas isn't any good. It's a great win for OU. I will not, I promise you this, I never do this, on the postgame show, if OU beats them, you will not hear me say Texas isn't that good. Texas is really good. So let's see what happens. But don't start beating other people down to make you look better. That's just, I don't do that. Right, Matt Ravis? I don't do that. You know that, Matt. It's no good.
I just don't know if that's super productive. We don't know anything. You know, we don't know much about it.
By the way, game day was in Dallas in 2008, and Texas won. So now
there's no correlation.
It makes no sense. Yeah. I think when we do our post game show tomorrow, I think what we're going to say is, Matt, that these are two really good teams. That's what I think, Matt. I think that's what we're going to say.
Yeah. No, this is a heavyweight matchup. I feel that way the first time in a while. Hey, by the way, OU is undefeated when Baker Mayfield's the guest picker.
There you go. It's over with.
Yep.
Texas shouldn't come. Yeah, that guy, he's nice, but the guy that on Instagram who messages mix of all these different things, and every one of them, of course, favors OU and is against Texas. And I just finally said to him, I said, you know what? I don't think Texas should even show up. Just stay in Austin. Game's over. I think it's going to be fun. Now, Matt, what's your final score of this game?
I ended up saying Texas 34, OU 31.
Okay.
Which would be over the total.
I think Fat Jack thinks it's going to go over, and I kind of agree with him. I think there'll be a lot of points scored. I really do. All right, dude, listen, great job, okay? I hope you have a great – now, you'll be doing Ravis Island this weekend?
Yeah, we'll be – I think we might be on at 10 a.m. Sunday morning. So Fantasy Island usually starts at 11, but because of the OU-Texas game, you have the Hangover show. So we'll get the first pass at breaking down the OU-Texas game, 10 a.m. Sunday.
All right, dude.
Well,
great
you
job.
guys will get the first pass, but we'll get the second pass.
All right, great job, man.
Thanks.
Appreciate it.
See you.
Matt Ravis, big part of the show. We appreciate him very much. Time for an OG&E break. Go to OGE.com/storm prep for all your safety tips. We're here today at the Reservoir, Toyota Music Factory. Great food, great drinks, great layout. We're outside today. The weather is a little bit warm, but it's nice. I like it. And we want to thank David Smith and the Big Red Shop. They're right over there if you want to buy some OU stuff. And then also Rock and Roll Tequila. Bob Stoops' tequila. Somebody needs to go over there and get yourself some tequila. Rock and Roll Tequila. I got to tell you, I said this earlier. I drank serious tequila 4 times in my life, and all 4 of those times I did something stupid, so I'm not going to have any, okay? Sorry, I'll let you all know. So I apologize to everybody that was with me at that time, but
you're not the only one.
It's got something in it, man. Super Freak going to be playing live on the stage behind me. When we get back, we will talk to the legend, 47 years on the radio and counting, Mr. Al Eschbach. This is the home of the Oklahoma City Thunder, the Sports Animal, the sportsanimal.com, and the Sports Animal app.
Dominant duo, Jim Traber and Al Eschbach. It's total dominance on 98.1 FM, WWLS, the sports animal.
You guys are up.
And we're back. Here today at the Reservoir at Toyota Music Factory as we get ready for OU, Texas. We got a lot of great things happening. And joining me right now, he is the legend of radio, king of the midgets, and the world champion at free cell. He is also a member of the Broadcast and Journalism Hall of Fame in the state of Oklahoma, Mr. Al Eschbach. And this show is known as the Dominant
Duo.
Where are you, Al?
Right here at the Westin Irving Convention Center, right here in Las Colinas. Spectacular. You're here. Spectacular property right next to the Toyota Music Center. Incredible rooms, suites, business center, meeting room. This is big time. I mean, it is big time. It's really beautiful over here.
You know, I was telling how you doing? You doing good? You have a good trip home? I mean, Cisco didn't do anything stupid driving you down here or anything?
Better than last night, I can tell you that.
What happened last night?
I got in a car accident on I-35.
You what?
I got in a car accident on I-35.
How did that happen? Coming home from the Lucky Star?
Yep.
What happened?
Driving just cut north of like Grand. There was, I guess one of the lanes was closed down. So I'm in the middle lane. I'm going about 55 miles an hour. This other person goes by me, hits me. And
wow. You okay? Everything okay with you?
Everything's okay.
Your car? What happened to your car?
Got damage on the front side. She hit me on the driver's side, front driver's side.
Imagine it was a woman. That's hard to believe. I'm sorry. People can call me whatever they want. I see some. It just trips me out, and I won't say anything about my beautiful wife, but you just never know with Julie over there. So, now did the police come?
Yeah, the highway patrol came,
and obviously she knew it was her fault.
Yeah, she told them it was her fault. She apologized to me.
Well, that's nice. That's good. Yeah. I hate it. I hate it when someone does something and then they like won't take credit for what they did, you know?
Yeah, no, there was no doubt that it was her. I mean,
wow.
She didn't see me. Yeah. So, Jim, I tell people I'm amazed it didn't, throw me, make me go sideways or something.
Really? Was it hard? Now, you're so low to the ground, man. That thing is so strong to the ground.
And that's what Cisco and I were talking about today. Yes.
That car, you got to really drill that thing probably to move it because it's just so low,
So, but that was my
wow,
my home from the Lucky Star last night.
Well, I'm glad you got home okay. That's
first time I've ever had an accident on a. No, I shouldn't say that. I drove through a motorcycle shop once, so I was going to say it was the first time I ever had an accident on a interstate, but that's not true. First interstate in Oklahoma. How about that?
That's fair. That's we'll just say that that's the first one in Oklahoma. So
yeah. So
and then your drive home down here, was it good today?
Oh, it was great. Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, we stopped over to Bevo Bash and over there talked to all the good people there, and it was good. What about you? Easy drive down?
Just a festival of yardbirds driving in the left-hand lane. That have no idea what they're doing. Just stupid, not just ridiculous. But
it was backed up a little bit in Denton, before Denton,
right before Denton hit us too. Yeah.
So hey, they're gonna make it 3 lanes on each side, Jim.
I know, man. That's awesome. I know it. That's gonna be great.
That's gonna be beautiful.
So that means going into Denton and going out of Denton, it'll be really easy.
Yeah. I think Cisco told me it's go 3 lanes all the way from San Antonio to Duluth, Minnesota.
What? The heck is he? I don't know. That sounds a little ridiculous. All the way to Duluth, Minnesota? Cisco's behind me over here. What are you going to do? With Cisco, you say yes?
I-35 is going to be 3 lanes all the way from Mexico to Canada.
Mexico to Canada. There you go. I-35, 3 lanes. Good.
That means a lot of construction in Oklahoma.
Yeah, that's true. But I tell you what, it's good for us down here in Texas because we only come down here like once a year,
That's right.
And it makes it so much better when there's 3 lanes, because then if you have some clueless person, then there's 2 lanes to get the heck around them.
Yeah. No, it's a lot better, especially since they fixed that thing around inside Denton. Getting through Denton used to be unbelievable.
From Denton down to Lake Dallas and that area there, it's so much better, isn't it? Wow.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. Yeah. It's unbelievable.
So much better.
Yeah.
So much better.
Yeah.
I tell you what, it's a little warmer. That cold front's gone through Oklahoma City and it's coming towards us, but it hasn't hit us yet. So about 81, 82 degrees today. That's a little bit too warm out here. I'm just letting you know.
And so what's the weather tomorrow?
It's going to be absolutely beautiful. I'll look it up for you right here on my trusty weather app. Hold on. See if it pops up down here. Okay. It's not working. Too many people. I don't know what's going on. What I had heard before, last time I looked at it, was about 55 early in the morning, about 65 when the game starts, and at 70 when we will start our post game. That's what I had heard.
That's
okay,
beautiful.
Here we go. I'm looking at it right now. My gosh, it's 87 degrees right now. Jeez, that is just ridiculous. Yep, I'm exactly right. 53 is the low overnight, and then the high tomorrow will be 71 degrees. That is going to be just perfect. Perfect.
That is. That's you know what? 23 years ago, on October 7th, with OU massacred Texas.
Say that again now.
23 years ago tomorrow, OU killed Texas on the way to a national championship.
That was 63-14?
Yep. October 7th, 2000.
Now, you've been with me a long, long time, okay? And I know you get sick of being with me, but we're still going. So do you know what the significant – do you know why I always remember that score was 63-14?
I got it. This is a good question.
In the past, I've told you, but I'm wondering if you remember. What is the reason
No.
why 63-14? I always remember that game, the significance of that game.
I think I do.
Okay, hold on, Matt. Let's see if Al can do it, and then I'll give you a chance.
I have no idea.
Okay, Matty, what is it?
Is it because that was the score of a Bedlam game in Norman one year?
Yes, and who was playing quarterback for Oklahoma State?
You were.
That's right. 63-14. We got obliterated. They were so good, it was absurd. I watched tape on them, Al. I couldn't believe it. I could not believe them.
Was that 1980 or 81?
It was 1980. 1980, 63-14.
That's J.C. Watts quarterback.
Jim, I got to tell you, they obliterated a lot of people. I wouldn't feel too
right.
terrible.
You're right. It was they were so good, man. Oh my gosh, their defensive backs were just incredible, man. They were and then I told you, I remember it. I went to the line of scrimmage, and it was 5 seconds that felt like 30 seconds. I looked across the line, Al, at their 3 starters. I think Reggie Kinlaw was older than that. Was Keith Gary on that team?
He was gone. Kinlaw was gone.
Was Gary not gone? Was it Brian? Would it
Gary was there. Keith Gary was there. Scott Case was on that defense.
Who was the other defensive lineman? Was it Brian? Was it? Anyway,
it was.
Who would have been the other
It was
one?
a dude that played for Steelers.
Oh, you're right. What was his name? Golly.
Lives in Edmond. Goodman?
John Goodman? Yeah, John Goodman, yeah. But listen now, I stood there for about 5 seconds as I was looking over the defense, and I looked, and all 3 of the defensive linemen weighed at least 50 pounds more than me, and every one of them was faster than I was. And I thought, maybe I should just call timeout and walk up the field. But then, we threw it around a little bit. They were incredible. And, they beat up. I threw a touchdown pass, so that, that's not bad. And that's when I saw that stupid crown on the field. Couldn't believe it. I could not believe it, Al. When I walked out of the tunnel for us to practice on that field, I couldn't believe that I was watching that thing. It was crazy. Crazy.
Yeah, J.C. Watts, Stanley Wilson, was a fullback.
Now, was Buster Rhymes, I think, was a running back that year.
Buster Rhymes was a running back. Yeah.
Matter of fact,
yeah.
He went 80 yards, I think, the first time they touched the ball, if I'm not mistaken. I think. And then, of course, they took him out for running back the following year, right? He got in trouble.
He got suspended. Yeah. And then they made him a wide receiver.
They made him a wide receiver. That's exactly right. That's an interesting punishment, too. And it is because you don't touch the ball at wide receiver, right?
Yeah, you're right. Yeah.
I thought that was really funny back then. Buster Rhymes, and he was good. Al, tell the people how good he was.
Oh, out of Florida, a great track guy, big guy too, 6'3". He
galloped. He galloped when he ran. Galloped. That's what he did because he was big.
He played for the Minnesota Vikings. Had some problems, man.
He wasn't.
That's
the greatest.
How the band is. The band is named after him.
Yeah, Buster Rhymes. Yeah, Buster Rhymes. Now he wasn't the. Like I said, he wasn't the greatest of people. He got in trouble.
Right.
Let's just put it
that
way.
He got in trouble. Yeah.
Stole some stereos or something, I think, if I'm not mistaken. Something of that nature.
Yeah. Something like that.
Yeah.
And then I think later on, drug problems.
Yeah.
In the NFL.
But you know what's unbelievable? That should show people what Switzer was doing back then, because he would have been the star of every team in the country. And they were okay at moving him to wide receiver because they're so loaded at running back, Al.
Yeah. Well, later, a couple years later, a guy named Marcus Dupree came in there.
Yeah, but you brought up Stanley Wilson. Oh,
Wilk was a great player. Another problem, doesn't show up for the Super Bowl.
Oh,
with
my
the
God.
Bengals.
Oh, that's unbelievable that he did that. He had some mental issues, I think, some problems too.
Well, drug problems. It was coke problems.
Okay.
Yeah.
But yeah, boy, the athletes on that team were just
you're right.
amazing.
I mean, he went to Manning High School, same high school Jamel Holloway went to.
And then Cumbie. Oh, my gosh, George Cumbie. Wow.
He could run.
Oh, I'm telling you, when you watch film on a team, you get to see everything, when you're sitting there with my boy Bob Leahy, and we're watching what we want to try to do and what they're doing. And I mean, Cumbie, man, wow. From sideline to sideline, like you couldn't believe, Al.
Yeah, he was unbelievable.
Is he?
Yeah,
if I asked you, Give me your top 5 most underrated players that people don't talk about on the time that you've been covering OU, Al. I would think he would be one of them, but maybe I'm wrong.
I got one for Al.
Well, I mean, I got 2. I got Damon Parker and
Cedric Jones,
Mike Gaddis, and Cedric Jones, Mike Gaddis.
Okay, Mike Gaddis. Yeah, Cedric Jones was a big-time football player. Unfortunately, he was with other people that were better than him, right? So he didn't get enough credit.
Well, no, they were.
He was on bad teams.
He was on bad teams. That's what happened with Cedric Jones.
I mean, he was on a couple of decent teams, but then Snellenberger and all that. I mean, fifth pick overall, fifth or sixth pick overall.
With the Giants, played with my Giants.
Yes, he did. I think he's still the all-time sack leader at Oklahoma, I believe.
I think he may be, Matt.
He doesn't get talked about near enough.
No, you're right. I mean, he was really those guys that played in that era in the 90s, like Damon Parker.
Joe Bowden was a real good linebacker.
Yeah. Played with the used the Oilers for a while. He was there were a lot of Stacy Dillard.
Dillard played with the Giants, you bet. Yeah.
I thought was a great player during that era, and I may be a little biased because him and his wife bought Julie and mine's house that we bought. You know, Julie and I built that house. You remember, Al? You were there. You came to our house. And
Stephen Alexander.
What a football player he was, man. He
played
about
another
10
guy
years,
in the 90s.
About 10 years in the NFL, too.
Yeah.
That's what's sad. And I've had this conversation with Pat on our station, both at OU and OSU. There have been a lot of great players that weren't at OU or OSU when they were at their best. And those guys tend to get forgotten a little bit.
Sure.
Like Gerald Hudson, who led the country in rushing in 1990. No, he was not Sanders or Thurman Thomas, but still a really good player.
Ernest Anderson.
Absolutely.
He led the country in rushing.
Absolutely.
When I was there, he was a great player. Great player.
I'll tell you who I think gets underrated OU, and he was there when they were at their peak. He was a first-round pick. Billy Brooks. I mean, the guy, I don't think people talk about him enough. I don't know if underrated is the right word, Al, but people don't realize how good Billy Brooks was. I know that, but that's what I'm saying. That adds to it. I mean, in my opinion, anyway.
Yeah.
Well, a guy that I had on doing the switcher thing was Eddie Hinton. Play with the Colts or won a Super Bowl.
But you know what? When you play 10 games and you only have like 25 catches or something, I mean, you know what?
You're right.
You know?
Well, Hinton had more. They were throwing more than the late 60s with the Bobby Warmack.
Okay, Warmack, yeah. I always wonder some underrated because I thought Dicumby was amazing. I really did. I thought he was just absolutely amazing.
Well, he could run. I mean, and he would have been he could have been the same year Kenny King and Billy Sims.
Yeah.
And but they had Kenny King at fullback and Billy Sims. So Barry Smith said, you could be one of the great fullbacks ever at OU, but we got Kenny King. We're gonna move you to linebacker.
Yeah. Well, that's Switzer's brilliance, right?
Yeah. I mean, the defenses they had then, we talked a little bit about it yesterday with Barry Tremmel about how they could run. I mean, and he was a conservative coach because of that talent.
Yeah. No, that was smart. He's brilliant. He's a brilliant coach. Brilliant coach. It seems like is it cooling off a little bit? Does it feel like it's cooling off?
It's a nice breeze where I'm here. I'm out here at the Mesa Mezcal.
Mezcal. Very nice.
Mezcal.
Yeah. Very good.
Really cool.
Let's take an OG&E break. Go to oge.com/storm prep for all your safety tips. I am here today at the Reservoir at Toyota Music Factory. By the way, if you don't have a ticket to the game, this is a great place to watch it. TVs everywhere. And Super Freak going to be live right behind me on the Texas Lottery stage. We want to thank Rock and Roll. You know who's out with us out here today, for the first time? Rock and Roll Tequila. Bob Stoops is.
Oh, I love it.
Yeah, they got their big RV kind of deal out here, and I think there's a chance that they're going to be doing some more stuff with us. I'm really excited. We've been talking to them about being a little bit more part of the sports animal because, as I said earlier, why would you want to be part of some of these other stations that got 12 people listening? You want to be with us.
Yeah, absolutely.
The important place.
By the way, Randy McDowell, Dante Jones, a linebacker, played with Bosworth, who's really, really good. Played in NFL. In fact, I think Dante lives down here.
He was fantastic. I'll tell you another one. Darrell Reed. Darrell Reed at one point was
four-time
All-Big Eight.
4 times.
That's crazy.
Out of St. Louis.
And you don't hear Daryl Reed's, at least I don't anyway. His name.
I don't either, man. I mean, no, you're right. I mean, Daryl Reed, four-time All Big.
Unfortunately,
Big
there's
Eight
so many of them to
defensive
talk
end.
about.
There's so many. You're right.
It's hard. But yeah, I'll tell you what. If you make All Big 8 4 years in a row, you probably should be talked about. I would think so. So Al, tell him you're over there in the beautiful Westin, right?
Absolutely, it's incredible. You're staying here. It is unbelievable. Right here in Las Colinas.
Very nice. We'll come back and talk to the legend more about the game and other stuff.
Did he
By the
know
way,
what's
we'll
your
bring Gideon Hamilton in. Gideon is going to be in Stillwater for our pregame, our countdown to kickoff, Bud Light game time in Stillwater for Oklahoma State, who plays tonight against Kansas State in a, frankly, I don't know how you can call it more of a must-win than this. I mean, oh my gosh, if they don't win this game, I don't know where they're going. We'll be back with the legend, Mr. Al Eschbach. This show's known worldwide as the Dominant
Duo.
All right, let's pick the draft order and get things going.
Do it. The Morning Animals are ready again to upgrade your man cave. Listen Thursday mornings throughout the football season to play fantasy football with the Morning Animals and get qualified to win a 55-inch Sony 4K TV from Harry's TV and Appliance, elegant Verona theater seating from Family Leisure, and a Bud Light mini fridge. Upgrade your man cave with the Morning Animals and 98.1 FM. WWLS, the sports animal. Official rules in. Studio from Eskimo Joe's Joe State Tailgate. It's countdown to kickoff and Bud Light game time.
2 hours away from kickoff inside Boone Pickens Stadium, Oklahoma State and Kansas State, as OSU hopes the off week did them some good in trying to turn their season around. Welcome to Countdown to Kickoff, 98.1 FM, WWLS, the Sports Animal. Gideon Hamilton here inside our beautiful Trade Pros Heat and Air Sports Animal mobile studio right across the street from Eskimo Joe's. We're actually in our location right across from Joe's Closed here, part of Joe State Tailgate. The coach, Robert Jones, he is off this week, of course, because he's a little bit busy. Dell's putting against Culpa tonight as the Eagles look to remain perfect on this season. A lot to get into today. We're going to tell you who to expect to have big performances with each team as Kansas State comes into this game overall with a disappointing result against Missouri a couple of weeks ago. Remember, that was the 60-plus yard field goal at the gun to give the Tigers the win. Kansas State 3-0 overall after defeating UCF 44-31. That was prior to their bye week 2 weeks ago. I'm going to hand it back over to Jim Traber and Al Eschbach as they continue to get you set for the Red River game tomorrow between OU and Texas. Guys?
Thanks, Gideon. Let me ask you a question, Gideon. What do you get a feel yet? I mean, you're two hours away from kickoff, but do you get a feel about what this crowd might be like? Because, you know, I mean, people know I think OSU is beyond Friday games. That's just me. But what are your thoughts about that, Gideon?
From my vantage point and what it normally looks like 2 hours before a game, I think it's pretty crowded. I think you might get a few more kids hanging around because they haven't had time to leave yet. So I think this is one of those weekends where it's like, hey, the game's tonight. You want to stick around, stay overnight. A lot of kids will leave on Friday afternoon. Thursday's the big party night here.
Right.
So I do see some more students kind of hanging around. Kansas State obviously travels really well, but I mean, we found out a couple of weeks ago that this was still going to be a full boat for this game, despite what was kind of starting to spiral there. So to answer your question, it looks really lively around here. I think the crowd will be fine, but they will quickly turn or desert this team if they fall down 14-0 or something like that.
Yeah. We talked about it this week, and we'll get back to the OU game, but I don't know how OSU wins a game. I mean, it's got to be turnovers or something, right, Al?
Well, you know what? Let me throw this at you. What has Missouri done this year that's impressed everybody?
Well, I mean,
Kansas State.
Kansas State's a nice win. Kansas State's a nice win, right? I mean, they're not great, but they're good.
I'm talking about Kansas State. No, I'm talking Kansas State. What has Kansas State done this year that makes them so formidable?
Well, let's see. They beat Southeast Missouri, who stinks. Troy's not bad. Lose to Missouri, beat Central Florida, right? That's where they're at.
Yeah, and they beat Central Florida, who lost to Baylor at home.
Yeah, I don't know. I mean, you know what I think, Gideon? I think when you become a well-respected coach who your team is disciplined and you don't do stupid things and you play good, solid football, you probably get a little more credit than maybe you should, Gideon. Do you agree with that?
Yeah, they're kind of in that neighborhood. I was thinking about this walking over here, that even though they won the league a year ago and people thought that they were going to be, in the upper tier, I guess, of the league this season. Maybe the top 3 or 4. They were in a lot of those prediction polls near the. It seems like whenever they do well, they always exceed expectations, whatever that is. And I don't know if it's because of where they are or where they come from or how they play. But it feels like they're kind of on an upward trajectory right now. They didn't have as much turnover as some other teams did from a season ago, so I think people felt comfortable with them. And why wouldn't you? I mean, they won the league last year.
Now Howard
that played for the national.
Now Howard didn't play against Missouri. Is that correct?
Howard was.
Or did he get hurt in that game?
Howard played,
okay.
But yeah, I think he got hurt during the game.
Okay.
Howard is interesting because he's thrown a pick in every game this year. Mm-hmm. So if that happens on the first or second drive, then it could be game on. But he's really, really steady, and as a runner, there aren't too many guys that are better than him in this conference.
Yeah, I know, Al. I know this, Al. They're running back against UCF, and I'm not saying Central Florida is something special. But Al, he had 206 yards rushing with 4 touchdowns, and then had 8 catches for 86 yards. He almost had 300 yards by himself. His name is Giddens, right? Is that it? Yeah, Giddens. Yeah. So, Al, listen, it's a great question what you're asking, Al. But you know what? Yeah. I think tonight, if Kansas State, even though OSU is having big problems, Kansas State rolls in there and wins by a couple touchdowns. That's a good win, right, Al?
Yeah, I agree. But they had a pretty good running back last year by the name of Deuce Vaughn.
Oh, yeah, no doubt. Deuce Vaughn is a
they've been good running the ball. They've been really good running the ball.
Yeah, absolutely. What injury-wise, Gideon, you know anything about what's happening with Oklahoma State? And we know Bowman's starting at quarterback, right?
Yeah, Bowman's the guy that was announced a couple of days ago. I haven't heard anything that happened during the off week. I'll tell you that much. So I imagine when their injury announcement comes out here in about an hour or so, I think it'll be pretty clean for OSU outside the guys that are, Lyric Rawls and, the linebacker that's out for the year.
Yeah. All right, good, Gideon. We'll keep you involved in the show as we go along. Al Eschbach is over at the Westin down here. I'm at the Reservoir at Toyota Music Factory. Al, we've been talking a lot. By the way, Barry Trammell's in the house, so we'll get Barry up here in a minute. But Al, we've been talking a lot about this game all week long. Has anything changed about this game in your mind? I mean, we think about it off the air.
I'm trying to again figure out what they're going to do in the running game, Jim. And I think, remember how Leach always said that, well, what he was doing really had running. It was like running the ball. So I think they'd have to throw a lot of short stuff passes. Don't you agree?
I do. I mean, I think
that
you can short passes can be a running game, right?
Right.
And
yes.
Look, I'm not saying they shouldn't run it at all, but you and I we've talked about this for years. If it's not working, stop doing it for a while and do what you're doing good.
Yeah, do what you're best at, what you can. Because as you said it yesterday, if you run the ball on first down, you get a yard, you try to catch up. Because first down is so big.
Wasted plays, Al, kill you in football.
Yeah.
They kill you. You can't have 2nd and 10, 2nd and 9, 3rd and 8. You're not going to win that way. You're just not.
No.
You know what I like? I like, throw a screen to Stoops and get 6 yards. Now you're 2nd and 4. If you want to run it on 2nd, 4, great.
And remember, in that Missouri, the SMU game, that's what they were doing all game long because he was running the ball so much during that game. By
the way, it didn't work.
No, it didn't work.
And I think that we would all agree Texas is better than SMU.
Well, yeah, not even in the same world.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's very, very strange. So, I think. Wow.
You okay? What'd you do there?
My stomach. It was what I ate earlier today.
Okay. Yeah. You need some good food, more than likely. After that.
You gotta, and I think you get 2 really good offensive guys with Levy and Sarkisian. I think me and you are gonna be sitting next to each other tomorrow. We're gonna say, "Wow, that was impressive on both sides of the ball."
I agree with you. I totally agree with you. I think they'll both bring plays that are new things. I think that they'll. Although I do think both Texas and OU's defenses are good, I just think that the offenses are better. Now, do I think it's going to be 50-48?
We're going to find out how good defense is, because neither team has played against a really good quarterback yet.
You're right. You said that yesterday, and you're right on the money. You're right. This will be by far the best quarterback that either one of them have faced. Couldn't agree with you more.
What is the line still at 5? What's going on?
Al, Fat Jack. I had Fat Jack on. He said that smart money came in early on OU, and then when it got down to a lower number, they quit. And then the public came in and bet the game a little bit back up, and now the smart people are just kind of waiting to see where it goes tomorrow. So that should make OU fans feel good. Not that they're always right, not that the smart people are always right, but they. I think they think that OU's got a really good chance to win the game.
Well, it's gonna be fascinating. I mean, we've been down here so many times, Jim, and so many times this game hasn't meant much.
You're right. Hadn't met
a rivalry.
Yeah, hadn't met a daggone thing except they don't like each other. You're right. That's really about
exactly
it.
Right. Yeah.
Gideon, tell us. Great. By the way, Gideon, now, what's the weather like up there? I know I know the cold front has come through. Is it chilly up there?
Yeah, it's, what did it get up to, 70 today? I think it was my car on the way here. It said it was like 67. And it's pretty cool walking over to our Trade Pros mobile studio over here. So I expect it to get into the 50s by the time the game's over.
Yeah, that's football weather now. Football players are going to love that. That's great stuff. It's time for an OG&E break. Go to OGE.com/Storm Prep for all your safety tips. I'm at the Reservoir at Toyota Music Factory. Al is at the Westin at the beautiful hotel right next to us here in Las Colinas. And we'll be telling you more about both of those as we go along. By the way, Rock and Roll Tequila, we appreciate them being a part of this. Love it. Super Freak's going to play live after my show on the stage out here. And, of course, Al is at the great what's it called again, Al? Mezcal? What is it? Mesa Mezcal.
Mesa Mezcal. Yes.
Mesa Mezcal. Very nice. Now, Mesa is mountain. And mezcal is a daggone like liquor. So liquor mountains. That's what that is,
okay. Al. It means you got to drink when you climb the mountain.
Now, have you been in a mountain before and drank, Al? Have you drank at the top of a mountain?
I've been in many mountains and drank, yes.
I bet you. The Alps? You've been to the Alps?
I've been to the Alps and drank, yes.
Did you like the Alps? Was it pretty?
Well, I love the Alps, yes. The Alps is really cool. Switzerland, it's a beautiful country.
How about Austria? Have you ever been in Austria?
I've been to Austria.
You are a world traveler. All right, we got a lot more coming up. Barry Trammell is here. We're going to bring him on. He has shorts on. We appreciate that very much so that he can fit in. Stay with us. This is the Leader in Sports. We've got Countdown to Kickoff Bud Light Game Time going on in Stillwater. We've got us down here for the OU Texas. Remember something closely now. I want everybody to listen to this. There is no station in the state of Oklahoma that does pre- and post-game shows for both schools like we do here on the Sports Animal. So that's what we got tonight. We'll cover you no matter who you love, OU or OSU. We'll be back on a Leader in Sports. This show is known as the Dominant
Countdown to Kickoff. Corporation, Bob Moore Nissan, Nerve Renewal Group, Billings Fairchild Center, and Warden and Carpenter Law Firm. The spark for today's game. Sponsored by Mr. Sparky. Your time is valuable. Mr. Sparky offers same-day electrical service.
Don't have to put up with any malarkey. Call 888-8-SPARKY.
Less than 2 hours away from kickoff here in Stillwater, Oklahoma State, playing host to Kansas State. Kickoff is at 6:30. This game is on ESPN. Kitty and Hamilton here inside our beautiful Trade Pros Heat and Air mobile studio, part of Countdown to Kickoff, Bud Light Game Time Live, right across the street from Eskimo Joe's. Joe State tailgate celebration going on right now, as you can hear live music behind us as well. Who's going to provide a spark in this game? By the numbers, you would think that Oklahoma State would not be able to run the ball effectively in this one. The Wildcats, number 6 in the nation in terms of rushing defense, 113th in passing yards allowed. And so Oklahoma State, if they get something done during the air, I'd love to see them reincorporate John Stribling, who basically hasn't been too active over the last couple of weeks. Went out early in that loss against South Alabama, was used sparingly against Iowa State, and then, of course, the bye week. Hopefully he is up, ready to go, and kind of making the impact that he did earlier. And then the guys mentioned it earlier, DJ Giddens coming off of a career performance, 30 carries, 207 yards in Kansas State's 44-31 victory over UCF in the season opener against Southeast Missouri. 15 carries, 128. He's averaging over 6 yards a carry this season. The sophomore out of Junction City, Kansas.
By the way, we
Jim
just
Traber,
got
Al Eschbach here to help get us set for OU in Texas, and I know they're about to welcome in Sellout Sports Barry Trammell.
Gideon, thank you very much. I want to let you know I just got a note that Stribling is out tonight against Kansas State.
Oh, gosh, okay.
He was injured in practice this week. So that's crazy. Yeah, Al Eschbach's over at the Westin. We're here today at the Reservoir, Toyota Music Factory, and we're joined now by Mr. Barry Trammell, and this show is known as the Total
Dominance
Hour. Tram, I want to ask you a question we were talking about a minute ago. Do we give Kansas State too much credit maybe on how good they are? Because Al was like, yeah, well, just about whenever they get a really good coach, it's not just Kansas State, maybe anybody. You get a really good coach that's they fundamentally do well. They don't do stupid things. They don't turn the ball, that kind of guy. But they've beaten nobody. They lost to Missouri. They barely beat Central Florida. Are we giving them a little bit too much credit, Kansas State?
I don't think so. I don't know. Is people giving them a lot of credit?
I don't know. I picked them to win the Big 12 at the beginning of the year, and I think they got no chance. So I'm wrong on that. But
yeah, I think. I soured on them to some degree when they lost to Missouri. I mean, you got to go win that game if you're K-State. So, yeah, I don't think of K-State as a Big 12 contender anymore. Maybe I should. Maybe I've got them underrated. I don't know.
Who is a contender? I mean, it looks like it's. Al, it's OU and Texas. And I don't know if there's anybody else.
Well, I mean,
yeah, and we're going to learn a lot more about both OU and Texas. I think we already know Texas is pretty good with their runs at Alabama. We'll know a lot more about Oklahoma.
I mean, I think you got to give credit to West Virginia. They've won two good games. They're 2-0.
What if they went to Arlington and they were picked preseason last in the league?
That would be interesting. Let's see. They come to Norman, and I don't think they play Texas. Or maybe they do. Maybe they go to Austin. So
OSU goes up there.
It'll be hard for West Virginia to make it, but
don't forget they swept the Oklahoma schools last year.
They did without their quarterback.
And that, correct me if I'm wrong too. That's the first time they'd ever beaten OU, right?
In
the league,
in Big 12 play,
they beat them out there in the Fiesta Bowl.
Yes, in Big 12 play.
And they beat them in the '80s also with a pretty good quarterback when they were Jeff Hush.
'82 season. That's right.
Okay,
that is right.
What are you getting a feel about this game, Tram? Anything down here? I know you've been going to the I get these dudes on Instagram that are sending me all these stats about how OU's better and blah blah blah. You go to two different places and spoke to the big time OU people. What are they talking about?
Well, they're worried about the lines. The smart fans know that Texas has the edge in the lines, offense and defense.
Right.
But outside of that, there's quite a bit of optimism, and you can win without being better in the lines, but it's much more difficult. So they need a big game out of Dylan Gabriel. Probably need to win the turnover battle, and maybe a special teams. There's three things I look at. One is you never know what's going to happen in the series. I mean, even if we knew that OU was going to run Wildcat last year, we wouldn't have thought 49-0.
Right.
Number two is, and I don't know if we talked about this yesterday. Texas has gone 3 straight games playing against a backup quarterback.
Well, Al said that. Al said they haven't played against a good quarterback.
That's exactly right. Even Alabama's starter, not good.
Terrible.
So that's a little bit.
But OU hadn't played against a good quarterback either.
That's true. And then number 3 is on the kicking game. Zach Schmidt does not engender a ton of confidence, but neither does Texas kicker. Texas kicker's having trouble too. He's been in slumping. He missed a 29-yarder the other day. So those are some reasons to at least be optimistic that this could go OU's way.
I will tell you this, Al. Peyton Bowen has blocked 2 kicks, and of course they returned a punt for a touchdown. Freeman did. So I would assume that could be something to look for tomorrow, Al.
Yeah, Barry mentioned something, and this is what I was thinking of earlier with the running game. He mentioned Wildcat. I wonder if they use some Wildcat tomorrow to run the ball.
Who would you do it with?
You could do it with Jackson Arnold.
Yeah,
he can run, man.
You could.
I brought up earlier today that they kind of did the belldozer with him but he's so much faster than Blake Bell. You know, what I mean?
Yes.
You know,
Yeah,
and he's not near as
He can
bruising.
get outside.
that's right. He's not as big.
Yeah.
He's not. It's if they did it, it wouldn't be a short yardage Wildcat.
Right. Irregular
It'd be
bell.
just a regular Wildcat. And here's the other
Regular
thing:
Wildcat.
you could
Yeah.
you could also run have another play called if they don't have the defensive
Yeah.
look they want.
Yeah.
Just snap him the ball and run the play you want to run.
Right. Yeah.
So that's an intriguing one, no doubt about it.
Yeah, they're gonna do now. Are you? I know we've talked to you for years, but I just want to make sure. Are you with me and Al that if you can't run the ball, you stop trying it and maybe start doing what you do best, and then try to get back to it, or you bang your head against the wall? Your thoughts on that?
I mean, I'd pick my spots. I wouldn't try to run the ball just to prove a point, or just if you can't run the ball, you got to go away from it, and then you run it only when you get a particular look that you really want.
Mm-hmm.
Otherwise, you got to do something that's going to be successful.
Yeah,
I tell you, it's especially on first down, Barry. If you're second, third, long, that's really tough to overcome.
Yeah, no,
That's
second and
that's
eight's
my
no way
problem.
to live.
Wasted downs.
Yeah.
Wasted downs,
Yeah.
Trim. You hand the ball off and it's 2nd and 10. You're killing yourself that way. You're not going to do anything that way.
No, that's definitely
By the
true.
way, Blaine just texted us and said they could use Farouk like they did
Farouk.
last year.
Yeah.
Yeah, Braden Willis anytime I got a Wildcat, I want a bruiser.
Want a bigger guy?
And Blake Bell maybe conditioned me to that.
What about Nick Anderson?
Well, I don't know. Is he a bruiser?
He's big. I don't know if he's a bruiser.
He's big.
He's a
He's
guy.
big. Big
Really
and
big.
fast.
I mean, I'm thinking more Javante Barnes is who I'm thinking of, but that's just me.
I do think that Jackson Arnold is big and he can run. So, but he's not a bruiser.
And he can throw.
Yeah,
He can
that's right.
throw.
He can throw too. That's crazy. Yeah, pretty good stuff.
Or even Marcus Major. You can put Marcus Major in the Wildcat.
The jump pass out of the Wildcat would be a pretty good play, probably.
Somebody ran that the other day in the NFL.
Did they?
Oh yeah, Henry from
Titans?
Titans.
Really?
Yeah, he threw a touchdown. Matter of fact, I think there was a little stat that he had. I think he's had more touchdown passes than Tannehill did. I think 2. I think he's thrown 2. I think this year.
Oh man,
Isn't that beautiful?
welcome to Tennessee.
That is beautiful.
Gideon, our man, is up there. It's countdown to kickoff. Bud Light Game Time with that beautiful Trade Pros Heat and Air mobile studio. Gideon, what's it looking like? Are we getting some more people mulling around?
Yeah, really good crowd out here, including one notable I saw. Kale was out here earlier, came by to say hi, so that was good to see him. No, we've got some great traffic out here in front of Eskimo Joe's, right in front of our Trade Pros Heat and Air mobile studio. Got live music, as you can hear behind us, but it looks like it's going to be a pretty lively atmosphere, at least early in this one for Oklahoma State. Wanted to pass along, Jim, as you let me know, that was right before I read that DeJon Stribling was ruled out. Lyric Rawls, Dotson, Justin Wright, those are the ones that we knew about beforehand, but that will be important for Oklahoma State in this game. Without Stribling, you have one less reliable offensive weapon out there for Oklahoma State.
Maybe OSU should just snap it to Oliver and run a little, maybe they should do that. Not Oliver, I apologize. Ollie Gordon. Maybe
Ollie Gordon, yeah.
Although Oliver,
well,
I might give it to him, too. You talk about a bruiser, but
I know who they played, but this is one of the best defenses, at least by the numbers here early in the season against the run. So if Oklahoma State finds some success in the running game early, it'll be surprising, but it'll be a welcome surprise for Oklahoma State. They've been so bad on the ground this year.
Sure will. Time for an OG&E break. Al, tell them where you're at today.
Right here at the Westin. What a great place. Westin Irving Convention Center right here in Los Colinas. Spectacular property. Right next to the Toyota Music Factory where Super Freak is playing at 7 o'clock tonight. Beautiful rooms, suites, fitness facility, business center, meeting rooms. Ready for your next event right here at the Westin.
I'm at the Reservoir with Barry Trammell, Toyota Music Factory. By the way, if you don't have a place to watch the game, you can watch it right here. Great televisions, great food. We want to thank Rock and Roll Tequila, who was here today, and David Smith in the Big Red Shop right over there if you want to get some OU stuff. Super Freak going to be playing live on the stage over here, Texas Lottery stage, after the game. A lot more coming up, ladies and gentlemen. This show is known worldwide as the Total
Dominance
Hour.
Boone Pickens Stadium, Oklahoma State and Kansas State. Welcome to Countdown to Kickoff, 98.1 FM, WWLS, the Sports Animal. Gideon Hamilton coming to you live from our Trade Pros Heat and Air mobile studios, right across the street from Eskimo Joe's, part of Joe State Tailgate. Hear the music. A lot of people excited about tonight's game, both in orange and black and in purple. Seen a lot of those folks, as we normally do whenever Kansas State comes into town. Hasn't really gone well for Chris Kleiman here, but Oklahoma State did have 3 victories in a row before that devastating loss in Manhattan last year, 48-0. A lot of those based on injuries, and that kind of sent the season into a tailspin. As far as who will air it out in this game, keep your eyes on Will Howard, completing just under 66% of his passes this year. Now, as I mentioned earlier, he has thrown at least 1 interception in every game he has played this season, and that includes Southeast Missouri, Troy, UCF, of course, the loss against Missouri, but he's run the football very well. 5 rushing touchdowns this season on over 4 yards of carry. That includes sack yardage. Hasn't thrown for 300 yards in a game this season, but he's been over 250 in all of them. That is who will air it out in today's game. Now, Eschbach, Jim Traber, and Sellout Sports' Barry Trammell continue the coverage of OU Texas right now, guys.
Thanks, Gideon, and we'll keep on checking in. Gideon's going to be telling us what's going on right up there pregame in Stillwater, Oklahoma State, and Kansas State. I was going to ask Barry, as a young lad growing up, did you get to go to OU Texas?
No, I never came to a game until I covered. The first one I saw, I covered.
Wow.
Yep, never did. My dad was an OU student, 49 to 53. And he came either in 49 or 50. And he got involved in the Friday night stuff on Carmarsh Street. And he said, never again. So, and he lived up to his word. He never came back to an OU Texas.
Really?
So,
what about your brothers?
My twin brother has never come. My other brother comes all the time. I assume he's down here. I hadn't talked to him this week, but he was headed down. So, my one comes all the time. One doesn't come at all.
Now, did your dad ever tell you what happened down here that made him never want to come?
Well, he just said it was just crazy.
Too
wild,
crazy for him?
People hanging out windows and, just stuff that,
So the stuff that Al loved, he did not love.
No, he wasn't crazy. He was not crazy about it. He was not crazy about it.
That's beautiful. That is
the
beautiful.
stuff that endeared me to this rivalry, your dad didn't like at all.
Yeah, no, not at all.
Did your mama, was your mama a sports fan?
Two things made her a sports fan. One is when we were playing.
Right.
Other than that, late in life, she became a big fan of the Thunder / Sherry Coles teams.
Okay.
So she liked the women's teams, and then she liked the Thunder. So,
okay.
The Thunder's really
like Jim. Sort of like Jim.
Yeah.
That's right.
The Thunder has
like
really resonated with senior citizen women. No, there's not any
there is
question.
no doubt. I mean, I remember you telling us all the text messages you used to get.
Yeah. And I assume that's coming back. I don't know, but football doesn't resonate with your senior citizen women. Not a lot of people come to football late in life.
Yeah, you're right. You're probably right. Yeah.
I tell you, we forget. I mean, the mania that went on when the Thunder got to the finals. I mean, that was unbelievable.
Yeah, and you know what? Here's another thing. The mania of OU Texas has changed because the times I'm talking about in the 40s and 50s, and even into the modern times, 70s, 80s, some in the 90s, it was really concentrated downtown, and Dallas has really worked to separate that, and disperse it. So we got stuff all over town. We're here at Las Colinas. They got stuff downtown. They got stuff in Frisco. Yeah. So it's all spread out, all kinds of different places.
Yeah. Jim, I was telling Cisco coming down, I remember, and not too long ago, every OU car would have something written on it or something coming down here about this, and nobody anymore, hardly nobody.
Yeah, there's no doubt. I've been coming now for, 30 years. I missed a couple of years when I was with the Diamondbacks, but I've seen a big difference in that time of the way the game is. It's not as psychotic as it used to be.
Right, and things change. Like people writing on their cars. Most people today drive nicer cars than they used to.
Yeah,
so
you're
they
right.
stop and think, well, do I really want to ride on this car? It cost me $45,000. Why don't I just
but
wave
the
a
price
flag?
they paid then was a lot of money. So
yeah, but it was
relevant.
not the same ratio was not in place.
Yeah, cars back then, though, Al, were a lot less expensive than they are now. Of course, people made less money,
Right,
too. So,
that's what Al's saying. That's what
They
Al's
made less
saying.
money. Yeah.
I'm just saying it's, and they were more junker cars. Cars today last longer and are nicer, and it was not that big of a calamity if your car quit in 1954.
Yeah. Well, it's obvious big. All you got to do is look at this, huh, Tram? This is really cool here, isn't it?
Yeah.
It's a great place to do a show, and got so many great fans. I like the youngsters that come up, man. Like youngsters come up that are listening. That's the stuff that I love. So, and by the way, they're going to have Super Freak over here as well. Going to be playing tonight.
You've seen Super Freak, Barry?
I have not, but it looks like Main Skin is going to play tonight. That's what that just said.
That's over. They're playing over at the other.
This is not the pavilion.
No,
Toyota?
This is not the main. This is the.
This is the Texas Lottery Plaza.
Right. That's right. Texas Lottery stage.
Super Freak's going to be on that stage right there.
And then over on the other side is where the plaza is. That's where the bigger bands play. Yeah.
Super Freak is not a bigger
they're
band.
good. No, they're good from Oklahoma City though. They're just.
But I've
Oklahoma
heard
City.
about them for a long time.
Well, yeah, they've been playing for years and years and years. Yeah.
I'll bet my next paycheck that Barry Tremors never had rock and roll tequila.
That I never had rock and roll tequila? No, but there's a big trailer right there. I see old Bob's doing well with it.
Yeah.
They got his cutout all over this place.
Oh,
I
I
saw
know.
one inside
Yeah.
the reservoir.
Yeah.
His brother got some kind of bourbon company down in Kentucky.
Well, Kentucky bourbon.
Kentucky bourbon.
Mark, yeah.
Probably
Yeah.
owns a horse or two, if I was guessing.
Yeah, probably does.
The number one thing I remember when I drove into Lexington was those horse farms.
Yeah, I remember that.
You know?
I hadn't been in 31 years, but I remember
Golly.
just mile after mile, those gorgeous white fences.
White fences.
Yeah. Yep.
It was incredible. Yeah. That's really cool. That's why I'm telling you, man, if he does well there, Al, I don't know if he'll leave. I mean, I know there's better.
I don't think he will. Jim, I've talked to people really close to him. No, he ain't going to.
You know, sometimes not everybody wants to get a bigger job, right?
Mark Few. Look at Mark Few.
That's a perfect one.
Bill Snyder was that way.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Mike Gundy's been that way. Now, some people think he's gone about it funny, but he still has done it. He still has stayed.
Yeah, he stayed.
He still has stayed.
He has stayed, yeah.
So there's been some. Yeah, there's been some. Kirk Ferentz.
Although Kirk Ferentz.
Listen, the Kirk
Come on,
Ferentz. Listen,
give me a
guys,
break with
guys,
him.
the Kirk Ferentz jokes, that's recent. That's the last 4 or 5 years. You look at Kirk Ferentz's total career, he's had an excellent run at Iowa.
He's done well, but Iowa, unfortunately, what do you say, 8-4, and they're happy, right?
Chuck Long told me why it's a better job than Nebraska. He said, you go 7-4, 8-4, 7-5, they're fine up there. Nebraska, you're going to get fired.
Yeah,
so
he's
he
right.
said there's no expectations at Iowa.
You know, we didn't say one word about Nebraska last week. I mean, that was against Ohio. I know it's Ohio State, but
Michigan, wasn't it?
Michigan, yeah.
Yeah.
What an embarrassment
Yeah.
that was. It was 38-0.
Yeah, that's not good.
I wonder, is he gonna turn that thing around?
Well, I mean, he went
It's 1 year, I know.
And remember his first year at Baylor, he
Was
went
bad.
1-11.
Okay. Well,
So,
if he has that quarterback back, he ain't.
Well, yeah, they should get rid of him right now.
Still optimistic about Matt Rule in Nebraska.
But he may be on his way to a 1-11.
I
right?
am optimistic.
Although they'll win another game. They'll beat
Who they
Northwestern.
play this week?
Who's that? Nebraska?
I think they play Illinois
tonight on FS1
Yeah.
at Illinois.
Wow.
Yeah,
At
that's
the Illini.
here's Nebraska right now. Yeah, they are. So they lost to Minnesota. They lost to Colorado. They beat Northern Illinois
and La Tech.
And then they lost to Michigan. So they're at Illinois, which probably is a loss, right?
Toss-up game.
2-4. Then they beat Northwestern. I would get they better beat Northwestern.
3-4.
3-4. Then Purdue. I don't know if it's homecoming.
Yeah, 4-4. Give it to him.
You're going to give it to him?
I'm going to give it to him.
I'll tell you a team that's horrible is Michigan State.
Yeah, so 5-4.
By the way,
That league they got some bad teams.
Did you guys hear that that I guess Lincoln Riley Urban Meyer, boy, it's the same kind of guy, by the way. Urban Meyer is interviewing for Michigan State?
I did not hear that.
Are you kidding
But let me tell you this.
Is that a perfect place
Put
for him?
me down. Put that one down as interesting.
Yeah. Is that not perfect?
That'd be fantastic.
I mean, that school is a dumpster fire. I said school is a dumpster fire, and they're going to roll Urban Meyer in there? Wow.
That would be interesting.
How can he get another job? What he did in Florida with all those players that were all arrested and everything.
He did get another job, Ohio State.
I know, but I'm just saying, I look back on him, and now he's so bad. I guess the pros is different, but he was an embarrassment at
Nobody cares.
Carolina.
Nobody
Well,
cares.
and then he just left Ohio.
Nobody cares.
He leaves jobs because of health, and he's really healthy.
Al. Hey, Al.
Yeah.
Nobody cares.
So Michigan State's
if
going to bring him
Michigan State gets a chance to hire Urban Meyer, they will.
Well, that's
run.
why I was shocked Auburn didn't hire him.
Yeah,
That's a good point. I'm surprised Auburn didn't do it either.
I think Michigan State's probably better suited for Urban Meyer.
Do you?
You know who's really suited for him? Texas A&M.
Urban Meyer?
Yeah.
Listen,
They
here's the
go
thing.
well.
Listen, Urban Meyer doesn't take any guff off anybody, which means places like LSU, Florida, Auburn are not good fits for a coach like that.
Okay.
Somebody that gets along with people to some degree, okay. And when, a booster calls and says, play Junior there at quarterback, you don't have to play him at quarterback, but you got to sit there and listen to him. Urban Meyer's not listening to that.
we keep talking about Auburn. Why didn't they hire him? Why didn't they hire Dion? I'm going to say this again. I said it to you this week. I think Hugh Freeze is a pretty good coach.
I do too.
I mean, what he did down there, obviously cheated, in Mississippi. We all know he did that. But, you know what I'm saying? No, I think he's a good coach. We'll see if he can get it done in Auburn. Auburn's not an easy job.
Well, he'll cheat.
Yeah, but is there any cheating? What is
There's
it
no
cheating
cheating
now?
anymore.
You're right.
You cannot cheat.
Well, academics.
There is no way to
Academics you
cheat.
can. Academics you can.
Well, that's right. That's a good point.
Coaches can't cheat in academics. Coaches
they can
cannot
arrange
break the
things.
law, cannot break the rules, academic rules.
So you don't think
if the academic rules get broke, somebody else did it, and somebody else gave the approval.
You don't think the coach gave it? You don't think a coach could go into a guy and said, "Hey, this guy really needs this grade"?
No.
You don't think that happens?
I mean, it does happen, but that's not the coach. That's guilty.
Right. It's the professor or whoever. Yeah.
I mean, if a cop grabs a bank robber, and bank robber says, "Here's $20, let me off." It's not a crooked bank robber. It's a crooked cop.
Yeah. No, that's
so. That's why
that's
some
a
people
solid
say
point.
the biggest scandal in NCAA in the last 20 years is not any of this SEC football stuff. It's that North Carolina basketball where they changed all the grades and stuff.
Oh, I know.
I mean, that's
You're right.
That's
Yeah,
as crooked.
yeah.
That's as crooked as
Yeah.
it gets.
He got OU. Remember, got OU on probation back in the 70s with Barry Switzer's first couple of years
Mike
there.
Phillips and Kerry Jackson.
Yep. At a Galveston Ball High School.
Galveston Ball.
I wondered. I wondered if Michigan State would think about shutting something down up there. As bad as this thing is, you know what I'm saying? After all the stuff with that horrible doctor and the gymnast and everything, and then now this deal. Although he says he has new evidence, but
hey, they're happy. Michigan State's throwing a party.
Oh yeah, they're saved how much? What was his buyout?
80 or 90 million, something nuts.
Why would they do that?
Well, they lost their minds.
Everybody's
hey,
losing
listen,
their mind.
they got to buy. They're like a sailor on leave the day after payday. They got money in their pocket, willing to spend,
and they're going to spend it on Urban
because
Meyer.
they didn't think they would have it.
Well, yeah, but they thinking they don't have to pay Tucker the buyout.
That's right.
They think they fired him for cause.
That's right. No,
that's what I'm saying.
That's what he's saying.
That's what I'm saying. They got money.
Okay.
And
yeah.
Let me ask you a question.
Yeah, we're rich now. Yeah.
Michigan State, Auburn, Oklahoma State. What's a better job?
Of those three?
Of those three. Best job of those three.
Wow.
Well, Auburn's won national championships.
They have. In 2010 was their last, and they made the title game in 13.
Michigan State's never won a national
No,
championship.
but Michigan State made a college football playoff in 16 or 15. I think it was 16. Made the playoff in 16.
They were great in the 60s.
OSU would have been in the playoff in 11 if it was 4 teams.
I would say Auburn. Just
I'd say Auburn also. Better athletes.
I know that Alabama's in your state, but it doesn't matter. I mean, it does matter, but there's so many players around them that we've seen that they can get great players. Heck, they got athletes. They always have athletes.
I bet they also plan everybody with athletes. Urban Meyer at Michigan State is intriguing to me.
I like that.
Because guess who doesn't like that? Ohio State doesn't like it. Michigan doesn't like it. Penn State doesn't like it.
Can you imagine Jim Harbaugh and Urban Meyer?
Well, how about Ohio State and Urban Meyer?
Well, that's true, yeah. But Jim Harbaugh is such a weird dude. I wonder what he would think about Urban Meyer in his own state.
That would be beautiful. Jim, tell us what's going on where you are.
Oh, Al, this place is awesome. The Reservoir, Toyota Music Factory. They got rock and roll tequila is out here. We appreciate them. David Smith with the Big Red Shop is here if you want some OU stuff. And Super Freak can be playing behind me at the live stage after my show. And don't forget now, if you don't have a place to watch the game, this is a great place right here at the Reservoir in Toyota Music Factory. What's up over at the Westin now?
Well, it's a great place. You got the Mesa Mezcal, mezcal for dining, homemade cocktails, authentic Mexican recipes, a lively patio scene where I'm at. Make sure you take the amazing breakfast featuring made-to-order omelets from the hardworking staff. The Westin Hotel, sportsanimal.com, Sports Animal app, 98.1 FM to the Sports Animal up next. Team with more of the total.
Thanks, Trim. Dominance.
Hour.
DJ Giddens, who had almost 300 yards of total offense a week ago in Kansas State's 44-31 victory against Central Florida. Going to send it back to the guys to continue to preview the Red River game between OU and Texas. Jim Traber, Al Eschbach, and joining them now, Dean Blevins. Guys.
Thanks, Gideon, and join us, Mr. Blevins, Jim, over at the Toyota Music Factory. Again, we're talking to S. Perry, this Dean. As a young lad growing up, after you got out of Hicksville, Arkansas, did you ever come down to the OU Texas game?
Yeah, came down several times. That's why when I kind of add them up, when someone asks how many have you been to, I have to go back and kind of it's sketchy. But no, I came to 3 of them before playing in 74. And so I got a taste of it at an early age.
When you were in Arkansas,
wow, man, in high school too.
Were you an OU fan when you were in Arkansas, Dean?
Oh, no.
Arkansas.
I wasn't an OU fan.
Yeah.
Through Jim, I idolized my brother Paul and still do. And, you know, he was a phenom in the state of Arkansas in high school and then in college, played 2 sports. And so I just idolized him and the Razorbacks forever. And that's why I almost went there. But it wasn't until just the end of my I liked OU, and especially when Coach Switzer came. And Al and I enjoyed some fun times in in the old arena there, Al, in the old field house in basketball. Yeah, weren't some of those old days great? But no, I didn't become an OU fan until the early 70s or right before I went.
Yeah, it's kind of what's kind of interesting about this game, guys. I don't know if it's going to be high scoring or low scoring. I have no idea. Do you guys?
Yeah. Well, I think if Oklahoma can score, I think Texas is going to be able to put up a few points, Al. I feel better about their talent and what they did against Alabama to make me think that they can score. I respect Oklahoma's defense and think that it's going to be interesting to see how we come out of this game, what we feel. But I feel good about what they're putting out there. But in terms of offense, I am hesitant to get real excited about it because I'm concerned, Al, about holding up, keeping the pressure off of Dylan Gabriel. I just think it's so darn important. Both that, Al, and the run game. And, what we're talking about is offensive line in both of those circumstances.
Hey, Jim, who was a clown was doing the first game of the season that is the best offensive line in OU history?
Gosh, I can't remember who it was.
Remember?
I know that you and I found that at the post-game show.
We looked at each other. Yeah,
we're looking at each other like, what is he talking about? It's interesting because this offensive line, Dino, under Bedenbaugh always, and I mean always, gets better as it goes along, but that hasn't happened yet, has it, Dean?
No, it hadn't, and that's kind of the same with the rest of the team in terms of finding out on Saturday really what kind of team you have. Oklahoma has got to go into this thing expecting to win. But if you don't win, you've got to have the ability to come back because they have better players than everybody else in the rest of the schedule, which means absolutely nothing. But if they lose, they have every ability to get back on their feet and still go down and play in the Big 12 championship game. I think offensively on the line, and it is so critical, they're getting some good performances. I mean, Guyton's an NFL guy that they're just drooling about. He's going to be a first-round guy. He's still not a dominant collegian, but he is really good. And then Rouse has been solid, and he's just a great force to be there. He's not been quite as dominant as I thought he would be, but he's still definitely a plus. And you got your guy at center, that in-state kid that has reigned has done real well. So it's those guards that I'm concerned about, and I continually talk to you guys about Savion Berg and his potential and importance to this team. I think he's back in the rotation early, and with what Texas presents defensively in the front, I think he needs to be there.
So
he's big, mean, tough, and he's an athlete.
You think he's going to play then tomorrow, Dean? You're pretty sure he'll play tomorrow?
I do.
Okay.
I feel he will.
Well, I think Al. Listen, Al.
By the way, I found out the tight end from Texas is playing.
Yeah.
Friend that I told you about.
Yeah. Is Watt going to play? Is Watt the cornerback going to play? I think that's pretty big one.
He was very questionable on that one. He didn't feel good about it.
I think Al, I think what you said, Al, is really, really interesting. We haven't talked about all week, but I agree with you. I think it's really hard to figure out what this game's going to be. Some think it's going to be a shootout. I know the Fat Jack. I believe the Fat Jack said that he liked the over in this game. But I don't know. You got two pretty daggone good quarterbacks, and you both have big-time wide receivers. Normally, when that happens, you see points, right? Don't you, Al? Normally?
Yep. Normally. Yeah, normally.
I think a lot of guys. I think a lot of it goes on Levy. He's talented. He doesn't have the most talent. He doesn't have the same pieces to work with, guys, that Lincoln had in his years. And by the way, people that are just unmerciful toward Lincoln, and I have fun with it, let's do remember he won 5 of these games. But I think that there's some surrounding talent that is a big factor in that.
Hey, listen, Dean. You'll never hear me or Al say anything bad about Lincoln Riley as a coach. We're just going to say he's a flat-out liar. I mean, he's just a liar. So, but I went to eat at this restaurant up in Edmond the other day that we love to go. It's called Around the Corner, and it's owned by our boys at the Weiss family, and it owns Othello's. And Al writes an article in their little. They have their menu,
like in the menu,
and it's like a newspaper. And Al wrote an article in there, and I just loved it. The very last thing he said in this article, he started off by saying, "Hey, he's just a liar," and at the end he said, "Am I going to believe the New York Times or a liar? I'll choose the Times." I was like, "Yeah, Al, I'm almost cheering in the daggone when Julie and I and our grandson are in there, Al. So good stuff."
Hey, that is a pretty good ending. You got to tip the cap there.
Yeah, really good.
It was the LA Times, because the LA Times, remember, said
LA
he
Times.
started.
Okay.
Yeah, he started talking to them in September of that year.
Yeah. Well, I know who I believe on that.
Yeah. I threw out and I talked to Jim and Barry about it. What about OU trying to help the running game, run some Wildcats tomorrow?
Well, who's back there?
Well, that's who we were trying to figure out.
I said Jackson Arnold could be back there.
Yeah. I love Jackson Arnold as much as any quarterback that's come to OU, but and I know what he's done before and think he's going to be an All-American or superstar. But I haven't seen anything on the runs that they've given him.
Well, different runs, Dean. Different runs. Not that bulldozer stuff. No, not all the power stuff.
It's funny you bring that up, because I kind of woke up this morning thinking that Jackson Arnold might be in the game plan, but my gut tells me that the devotion from Jeff Levy to Dylan Gabriel is so severe, so strong that I doubt that.
Well, you know what, Dino?
Well,
let me just say this: you don't want to do it so much that Dylan Gabriel's on the sideline being mad about it, But a couple plays here and there, just to mix it up. I think that'd be pretty cool.
Here's the problem. If Arnold goes in, that's fine to have him run one, Jim. But what I want him to do is make the throw when he's in there. I want him to the plays to be called where he makes the throws that Gabriel's not as good as him in making.
That's a good point. Yeah. No, yeah.
Yeah, but if he gets intercepted, that would be a really bad thing.
It would be.
I know,
Yeah.
and I expect problems, because I don't think they may put, when he goes in, they may just be teeing off. I understand that.
Well, this is what I know. The only ball that Jackson Arnold has thrown this year over about 10 yards was an unbelievably perfect throw down the sideline that was just to Anderson. I mean, you couldn't have laid it in his hands any better than that. And that's the only one he's thrown out down the field. That's it.
Yeah.
Nothing could be better for Oklahoma coming out of this game than having Nick Anderson be a co-player of the game along with Deshaun McCullough, because they'll be here for years.
You're right. That's exactly right. I tell you, Worthy hasn't had a great year. And you know what I would say?
Why
is
scary,
he?
But I'm with you. They've got more weapons. I think is the problem now.
Yeah,
that other kid Mitchell.
He's talented.
You know what though? Really talented. The Mitchell kid's really good too. But you know what, Al? What's interesting about Worthy is that all those rumors in the offseason that he was going to go to USC, and then there were rumors that he was thinking about going. I think where was it? Was it Georgia or I couldn't remember. I wonder if some of the dudes on that team were like, dude, leave if you're going to keep talking about it. And then he didn't. So I don't know. It's interesting because it seems like Mitchell, they're looking at Mitchell a little bit more. It might be the defense, Dean. I don't know. Maybe the defense is covering him a little bit more. I don't know.
Yeah, maybe so. I just know when I do see him targeted, he's the guy that you and I would have loved to have thrown to.
Oh, yeah. No, he's big time. But I said this. When you look at the top two receivers for both teams, Texas has got an advantage, but I think OU's got more depth at wide receiver. I really do. I think they got more guys.
Yeah.
Now Sanders, the tight end, is impressive. Really impressive.
Yeah, if you throw the tight end into the mix, because you guys heard me talking back in spring about what I expected from the tight end position. When you throw Texas tight end game, which is second in the nation, only to, of course, Bowers, who got my Heisman vote last year with Georgia. When you throw him into the mix, it's really lopsided, though.
Yeah, boy, that Bowers kid is really, really good. Man, he's a good player.
Oh, my God. Oh, my God.
But one thing OU does have in edge is special teams.
Yep.
We know that, right?
Which part of it?
Well, blocking punts and
and returning.
Blocking punts.
Returning punts.
It'd be good.
Freeman's, OU's return game is really, really good. So now we got Schmidt. The field goal thing is going to be. How many times have we seen this game decided by a field goal?
Yeah, it's been really important. You got to remember this kid that missed for Texas last week didn't miss chip shots. His two misses were from 49 and 50 yards. So last year he had a great year, but he's in a slump. He's not on top of this game. But nor is Schmidt. What concerns me is seeing so many kickoffs that were odd or out of bounds.
Yeah. Hey, Dino, thanks, man. We'll talk to you tomorrow.
Talk to you tomorrow, Dino.
Talk to you tomorrow.
See ya. Jim, what's going on at the Toyota Music Factory?
Oh, it's just a great place, Al. We love coming here at the Reservoir. Great food, all the drinks you want. We're outside now. It's really nice. The sun's gone behind the buildings. By the way, Al, I'm being told that the cold front not getting here till 8 o'clock now. So if Cisco's there with you, tell him he was dead wrong. First he said 3, then 5. It's 8. But anyway, we're having a great time. And we got all the game day gear from David Smith and the Big Red Shop over here. We got rock and roll tequila. Bob Stoops' tequila is here. Super Freak is playing on the stage behind me when we're done. So it's going to be a great, great day out here. Al, what's happening over at the Westin?
Well, you're staying. It's beautiful. I mean, Westin Irving Convention Center, Los Colinas, spectacular. And you mean spectacular property right here next to the Toyota Music Factory. Beautiful rooms, suites, fitness center, business center, meeting rooms ready for your next event. It is unbelievable. Up next, we got one more segment of the Toto
Dominance
Hour. exposure tonight, is it not?
It is, but I don't like it. I'm sorry. I mean, you look at the teams that normally play on Thursday and Friday night, right? The big boys very rarely play.
That's a good point.
And, if Oklahoma State's trying to be a big boy, I just don't like it. And we'll see what this crowd is like. I'll be really interested to see what the crowd is like tonight. Because you think about it now, what if you live in Elk City and you're a huge OSU fan and you got season ticket? You're going to drive, after you work 3. I mean, it's just tough. So, by the way, I don't think people agree. A lot of people don't agree with me. If you're still on with us, Gideon, I know you're – Gideon, do you disagree with me on this, or are you cool with this, Gideon?
No. You look at every once in a while you'll get a national power on Thursday. Seems like it hasn't really been the case here early on in the season. But generally those games are against somebody who is far inferior to you, or it's an out-of-league game, something like that, where you can just kind of pop something on an unconventional night. But no, I agree with you on this one.
Thank you, Gideon. Here's the deal, Al. I've been talking about this for a long time. Oklahoma State has gotten so much better over the last 20 years of realizing that they're not just the little brother of OU, okay? They have. But there's still people in the administration. All you got to do is look at this ridiculous $25 million buyout that they have and this 5-year lifetime rollover contract. You don't need to do that. They're scared that Mike Gundy's going to leave. They're good enough, Al. If Mike Gundy leaves, they're going to get a really good coach now.
Well, and it's the same with Travis Ford. They were going to get a good basketball coach.
Absolutely.
What Iba did, and then obviously Eddie Sutton over the years.
So just that's what bothers me a little bit. That I think the fans are definitely starting to be more big time thinking. I don't think some of the administration is, though, and that bothers me. It really does.
Well,
but
when you make mistakes like that, it really hurts you. So
no, you're right.
Well, what's your plans tonight?
Julie and I can have just a little bit of dinner. I'm gonna go watch OSU and Kansas State. I'm excited about the game. I don't know if Oklahoma State can turn this thing around, but tonight will be the time if they can do it. It'd be a perfect start if they can. I just don't see it happening. I think they could cover that spread. It's 10.5 now. The game's, people are betting on crazy on OSU, but I think this final score of this game is like 28-21, something like that. I think it's going to be hard for OSU to win the game. I really do.
What time are you going to bed?
I'm going to try to go to bed the minute this game's over. I'd like to get some sleep for tomorrow morning and when we wake up. Now, we are 7 a.m. in the lobby.
7 a.m. Say it again.
All right, big
how many
boy.
years have we driven up?
Oh, my gosh. Now the SEC. Now maybe it'll be later sometimes. Maybe we'll get a 2:30 game.
Yeah. Hopefully it's the last one. Hey,
I
thanks,
am too.
Jim.
All right, Al.
See you
Great job. Gideon, great job up there too, fellas. All right, see ya.
Here at the Westin, what a great place it is. I mean, big time. It's a great place. Going to be telling you.